What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the breakdown. Jesus Christ, welcome to the breakdown. Episode 739. That's right. Oh my God, 739. We're approaching 800, ladies and gentlemen. We are approaching 800 episodes. That is crazy. Well, closest to 750. What's going on? What is fucking going on? Listen, I did 2 shows yesterday. I'm back at it again. I might be doing another show tonight. I'm filling in for another person who works for the goddamn network. Let's start it off. Midnight is the title sponsor. Midnight is the title sponsor of this show. Shout out to Midnight. Charles is coming on today. We're going to talk about Cardano. We will talk about Midnight. We're going to talk about Midnight City and why my AI agent continues to just stay in the goddamn charging room the entire goddamn time, okay? My agent is continuously sleeping in the goddamn charging station. So shout out to Midnight. Shout out to Charles will be on at 1:15. I really was trying to start the show earlier today, but I couldn't do it, man. I was really trying, but couldn't do it, man. Couldn't do it. Also, shout out to Polymarket. Polymarket, the official prediction market sponsor of the breakdown. That's right. Also, Cake Wallet. If it wasn't for Vic, and I say this all the time, if it wasn't for Vic, back in the day when I first seen him being so loud on the timeline, I would never be buying Monero at the pace that I did. So shout out to Vic, shout out to Cake Wallet, shout out to Seth, Leah Oldham, everybody that's working with Cake Wallet. Shout out to you guys. And also Quad Network. Shout out to Quad Network, man. Hopefully we get one of the guys on here next month. Yeah, this month. I was thinking this is June, July. Hopefully we get somebody on. We'll go ahead and chat it up. Products, obviously, that are geared towards Bitcoin. I was going to say something very, very interesting, man. This is what it is when you come onto crypto Twitter now. People go ahead and try to sell you some absolute horseshit. That's right. Instead of backing the OGs in the goddamn space, the people that actually built this motherfucker brick by brick, no, you won't go ahead and back them. You'll go ahead and chase some dog shit, and then you'll blame all your losses on some goddamn influencer. That's right. Stay tuned. I'll have more for you as I put that belt to ass. I don't want to check my DMs. My DMs are full of people sending me hospital bills from foreign countries asking me, Sir, I'm in need of help. I need help, sir. I need help, sir. Can you, if you send me $100,000, I promise. Bro, you imagine walking up to somebody in the goddamn street and be like, hey, listen, sir, I don't know you, but like, if you can just lend me $100 grand, I promise I'll pay it back. Sir. What is happening, bro? God, you don't know what aligns with my vision. Okay, you don't know what aligns with my vision. Actually, you do know what aligns with my vision. I broke it down already multiple times. At this point, I'm extremely being repetitive here. Slow and steady wins the race. That's all I can tell you guys. If you didn't listen to my monumental speech, which should be put into the history books, I was filling in for Rob Nelson yesterday. If you didn't see it, that was a historical, monumental, Gettysburg type of speech. Somebody should cut that up and put some like theatrical music to it. That's the type of speech you listen to while you work out and you're lifting. That was the type of speech I gave yesterday. By the way, this energy right here, you cannot tell me anybody, and respectfully, for the people that I like, that create content, respectfully, you cannot tell me there is somebody, you can physically see the electricity all over my body when I speak. They're like, David, are you angry? Why are you yelling? I'm not yelling. I'm passionate, man. This is what passion looks like. I know you've never seen it in your life. You've never been passionate about anything. You're not running through a brick wall. Yeah, I'm going to run through a brick wall. I'm going to go through a brick wall for this. You ain't doing shit. I'm sitting back here. You ain't doing nothing. I told you, man. I am sitting back and I am watching, patiently watching, because it's what I said multiple times throughout my shows. The community, air quote, could be very, very passionate for 1 day, 2 days, 72 hours. And then all of a sudden, they look at the market cap. They're like, it's not reflecting. It's not moving after 3 days. After 3 days, it's not moving. It's cooked. It's done. And then the passion that you first had, because it's all tied into the number. You're not looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at the number. The number's not moving. The number's not moving. So, I mean, whatever I'm doing is not working. You know, I said this to the Bobo community one time. When I first started talking about Bobo was at like 400, 500K. I'm the only one doing spaces on Bobo. And I got not into a fight, but I told the Bobo community in the Telegram chat, I said, you guys are in this Telegram chat, you're talking to each other. There's 20 of you talking to each other. That's all that's happening. You guys are talking to, you guys are all in Bobo, and you're talking to each other. You got to get out the trenches. You got to get out. You got to open the doors. Like a lot of you guys aren't going outside, so you're using the same approach as you are here when you're raiding. You got to get outside. You can't be stuck in your chat. You got to explore the world and shit. That's a big problem. If you I don't know. I'm the ultimate bag worker, man. I work for my bags. I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to every single individual I can go ahead and get in front of. I'm not waiting for the next guy to do something. I'm putting in my work. And hopefully it's infectious enough that people, oh shit, look at him work. I'm going to work. And then the next person, you got to get out there and talk. Don't just shill people. By the way, don't just shill people. Tell them why it's important. Tell them what we're doing. Tell them what the mission is. Tell them how great it will be when the community takes back crypto and heals it. Tell them a story, a factual one. No empty promises. That's how you win. That's how you win. You win by working your ass off. Working nonstop. Nonstop work. Hold on one second. I just want to see my channel. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I gotta say, I am a sex symbol, bro. I am a sex symbol. And no doubt about it. People can say not, but you'd be lying to yourself. Goddamn sex symbol. Goddamn sex symbol. Goddamn sex symbol. I said I'm a goddamn sex symbol and somebody's repeating it. Anyway, let's before we get into crypto and stuff. Hold on, you win by being committed. That's right, brick by brick, lock in or clock in. Spit facts, where salespeople make them want to not. You ain't salespeople. You're passionate, man. You're passionate about something. Let me go right to this. I want to go ahead and go right to. I want to get into. I want to get rid of the politics conversation here because I'm looking at this daily. Okay, and this, by the way, the numbers are starting to look a lot better for the Republicans. Okay. Yesterday, I believe we were at 44% that the Democrats sweep. And now it's starting to shift a bit here, man. Look at that right here. Right there, man. Look what's happening. Look what's happening, man. Slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, man. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, man? Who really knows? But how the balance of power 2026 midterms, now you have Democrats sweep 43%, Republican Senate, Democratic House at 40%, Republican sweep at 17%, Democratic Senate and Republican House 1 point. That ain't gonna happen. That won't happen there. I look at Polymarket for this reason because like you're getting instant data to go ahead and look at. I know a lot of you guys might be Democrats or independents. Okay, you might not like that I'm a Republican, but I think what happened here, I'll tell you what happened here with the Democrats. I think they're going to lose the House or a chance at claiming the House because of what happened in New York City and also in Los Angeles. You have this, and then also what happened in New York City. Besides obviously Mandani being the mayor, but you have the three socialists that have gone and won their primaries. And now there's bickering and fighting. I think you're going to see the Republican Party win because people don't like communism and people don't want to hear socialism. Socialism, especially the word communism, people don't like hearing that. So, and there's a lot of people that have come and fled from other countries to come here to get away from those two words. So I think what we will see is we might see the Republicans retain power. But also, I'm really disappointed. I got to tell you, I'm really disappointed in the Republican Party because they can't pass the SAVE Act. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. That bill should have been passed. Okay, bottom line, Americans and only Americans should be voting in our biggest elections. To even have a dumb conversation about do you realize you need to have an ID to go into Obama's library, right? That new library that Obama got built out for himself. You need ID to go in there. So if you need ID to go in there, why wouldn't you need ID to go ahead and show when you go ahead and vote for the next president of the United States of America? What are we talking about? You're lucky I'm not president. You're lucky I ain't president. Anyway, it's getting close. Balance of power, 2026 midterms. It's the odds were really in the Dems' favor here when I was looking at this before. So we'll get back to that though, maybe later in the show. But I think there's a possibility that the Republicans, because of with the socialist movement, and people are making it known like there is a communist movement happening. I think people they ain't feeling that. So polymarket.com. Shout out to the sponsor. Okay. Listen, if JD Vance and Rubio don't step up to the plate, I might run for president. I don't know. I'll consider a run. Okay, I will consider a run. Every time Landy comes into the green room, all my monitors start fucking up. Big time. Okay. And yeah, somebody said same day voting. That's right. Same day voting. Okay? If you choose to go overseas and you're making plans, then that's on you. Overseas voting are done. Like no more. No more mail-in ballots. None of that bullshit. None of that. The day of the elections, one day, you go to the box to go ahead and vote, and that's that. It's a wrap. And then we have a system that counts immediately. We're now waiting 19 years for ballots to come in from goddamn Nigeria or some other goddamn fucking banana republic country. Nah, fuck that shit. Nah. Anyway, let's go right to crypto. David, why don't you call it? David, why don't you call it? There was a person yesterday, I don't even know what they're talking about in terms of calling, but there was a person yesterday, which I put this into the subscriber group. So 2 days ago, I was the hero. 2 days ago, I was somebody's hero. And then yesterday, the same person who is claiming that I am their hero then said I am a zero because he's not calling something. How dare he not call something? It's been 2 days. It's 48 hours. The message that I've been providing has been going over the head, completely over the head. You are waiting for somebody to save you. And I'm using myself as an example here. You are waiting for somebody to save you. You aren't taking it. You are not grabbing the ball in your own hands and running with it. That's the fucking problem. And it will, no project. And let me read what I tweeted out today. Let me read to you what I tweeted out today. Hold on. Let me read this. I said, if a project depends on one person to survive, it was never built to win. Communities outlast individuals. I'm going to repeat this again. If a project depends on one person to survive, It was never built to win. Communities outlast individuals. Let me read this one more time for the hearing impaired. Maybe you can read my lips. If a project depends on one person to survive, it was never built to win. Communities outlast individuals, and that is the fucking motherfucking truth. Welcome to the breakdown. Gotta be going after something bigger, man. Gotta want to win. Gotta have that mentality. I'm a dog up in this motherfucker. I want to win. I want to win. I want to win at all costs. You're not going to win with a loser mentality. Group comes together, a collective comes together, you send it. Anyway, let's bring in Landy. Let's talk about what the markets look like right now. Landy, we've had a nice little jump here in the markets. People are excited. The vibes are back. Honestly, I'll say, my take on the environment right now is it's bullish, and even if the markets were to pull back, it will remain bullish. I feel like people are sensing that we are close to a bottom. So even though things are going up, I have this feeling people understand that it might retrace, it could go lower, and they're okay with it. And they're getting somewhat prepared. That's just my take. It's the environment that I've been around for the last few days, and it's the vibes that I'm feeling. Again, red candles, green candles change people's fucking entire mood. But I'm just saying, people look like they're amped up right now. I'm starting to feel something in my nutsack that I haven't felt in months. Your take, puppet, and good morning.
Not sure how to follow that, but yeah,
You can't. I'm electrifying.
Yes. I learned this yesterday that I'm boring as hell.
Oh my God.
But look, it's tough to follow. It's tough to follow David. I'd like to see some of you try.
It is. It truly is. I mean, come on.
I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to deny it.
It's not just Landy. Anybody who comes on here, it's like,
yeah. I mean, look, I don't look at my face. I mean, I'm here. I'm smiling. I show up every day, smiling.
You just say I don't come on here and look at my. Are you saying I look at my face?
Well, look at my face. I mean, look into my sunglasses. You can tell that I'm just a puppet. I'm here to show my support for the people that I care about, for the communities that I care about, and tell everybody that, I mean, there's really strong support at 0 and really strong resistance at $126,000 for Bitcoin. And that's what you really should watch to see where the market's going to go. And I'm just kidding. It's not going to 0, but it's also probably not going to go right to the all-time high. And I think really right now, my point behind that little poorly prepared joke is that we are in that time frame where even though there is the possibility, right, that Bitcoin takes another leg lower, and therefore if Bitcoin takes another leg lower, by and large, most crypto will in terms of the majors, we're starting to see the shift. And the shift always precedes the bottom. There's usually some pretty bad pain at the actual bottoms, but in most cases, we've seen that developers have already started to get things prepped because you see, you work in the bear markets, right? So that you can market in the bull market. And we're seeing that communities are now getting wise to all right, we're kind of in that time period where it's the summer, where we're in, yes, a bearish market for price structures for a lot of cryptocurrencies.
But is the vibe bearish now?
No.
Right now, though, is the vibe bearish in terms of sentiment,
No,
Because
it's not.
the numbers and the market structure could be, but right now, like, have you seen like a 180 kind of happen here?
Not really a 180. I would say that it's more of what I'm seeing is that people are patient and they're starting to get excited even for lower prices if that does occur. And that's what you want to see. That's something that we saw as we were approaching the bottom and the final low of the last bear market. And we're in that window of time where, we're probably looking at the end of Q3 coming into Q4. So the end of the summer coming into the fall or sometime in the fall, actually finding and carving out that macro low for Bitcoin. And I think people are understanding that this is now the time period where you want to go and you want to hunt value. You want to find what it is that you're going to be in when the bull market structure does start to occur. Because you're going to get hit with all kinds of, this is the newest, greatest thing. This thing's popping off over here, left and right. And then if you're not prepared for it, you're going to be chasing the entire time when things do turn around. And where where the real money is made is in this time period, right now, moving forward, right? When you get into the markets and you pick your favorite stuff and you accumulate so that later you could sit back and watch it go wild, right? And you can take some profits. And I think, I've had a lot of conversations on various stages, obviously for spaces. I've had a lot of conversations with you about this, and it's all about having a plan. And I think people are starting to understand that it's not really about the price at this point. It's about the time period that you have in which to accumulate things at low prices, right? And to have a plan to get into those lower prices so that you can experience the actual bull run in the way that you if you're new here in the way that you've heard people from the past tell you about bear markets to bull market, right? And bull runs. And I think that we're seeing that there's a lot of people that might have come in just in the last cycle that are starting to go, okay, we're following people that are actually, you know, starting to get excited, communities that are starting to get excited, and a lot of OGs are starting to make their moves and make preparations, and their tone has shifted from I'm really looking for a lot lower or I'm looking for this to doesn't matter if it goes lower. It matters about how much time I have to accumulate. And that's what I like to see. But we'll see. The next bigger move.
I'm
Um,
talking. Shit, I was on mute. My bad. I just
oh,
wanted to
you
say
were.
that we have opened up the phone lines here. You can call in 917-599-5937. You can go ahead and come on here. And if you're, by the way, I will throw you off the goddamn, I will hang up on you if you say something stupid. But you can go ahead and call up and you can ask me and Landy a question. Landy, man, I'm surprised you're a little bit bullish, man.
Well, one of the things is I've told you since
No, no, don't say you
58 to
told me.
60.
Don't say that.
Well, the when we were at 123 to 125, which I was telling you at the time was where I was looking for a local top that could potentially turn into a macro top, but I was unwilling to call it till I saw a structure break. One of the main areas that I was looking to the downside is okay, if we do see a structure break in Bitcoin and other majors on higher term timeframes, I'm looking for Bitcoin initially to go and settle in somewhere around 58 to 60. Well, we hit 60 and now we've hit 58 and we've even swung under it. And while I am open to it going lower and I have targets that are lower if this breaks down from here, the biggest thing is we now have criteria for where things change. Because we just had the monthly close for June, we now know where the lower high is. This would be your bear market lower high, just like 48,240 was the bear market lower high last cycle for Bitcoin. We now know 82,814 is the bear market lower high for Bitcoin. So now it's all about, do we find a low here or lower? And then when do we either break that low or set a higher low, or break that lower high, or set a higher low that can come up and break it. So it's either trend break it and then set a higher low, or set a higher low and then trend break it. And now we just need to see a low carved out. So I think that, between now and the fall, and I'm talking about typically early fall, in, mid quarter four, or shortly after quarter four starts. So we're looking probably September, October, or October into November. If we haven't already found a bear market bottom, we likely will. And time flies. It's already the summer. It's already July. So this is the time period where, I'm evaluating price structures. I've already began accumulating, here and lower, $60,000 for Bitcoin and lower is all accumulation for me. And it doesn't matter how low it goes. And I told you even last week, Ethereum's in an accumulation zone for me. There's others that I've been scoping out. And people made fun of me for ADA, but even though I have much lower price targets for it, you're muted. I didn't even know you
I
were talking.
called Cardano, bro.
Well, I said to you that somebody was getting at me about
I'm just
ADA.
fucking around with you. Oh my god.
Well, no, somebody else was getting at me about ADA, and I said, it's in this zone between like 15 and 16 cents that I was interested in. So I put in a fairly, sizable order, but I'm still looking for lower down to 7 cents as a zone from 16 to from 7 cents to 16 cents. That's a wide range, by the way, right? If you take an order here, it's not like I'm slamming down all of the dry powder that I want to put on it right here, right now. But it's like, if it does head down to some of these other areas, or even 3 to 5 cents, I'm in. That's accumulation for me. Um, Ethereum, ADA, Solana, there's accumulation zones. It just came off of one of the key levels and swung it. But if it heads down substantially lower, there it hit a monthly at $60. That was a big monthly close open. So, I even picked up a little bit there. Now but I've got areas much lower that I'd be willing to accumulate at. It's all about finding and spreading out your orders for buying, in this case for me, that just would make sense, right? And I buy in the downtrend, I sell things in the uptrend. So it's not that big of a deal. It's just me. Hey, look. So this is the perfect time period to be paying attention. The sell in May and go away stuff is kind of not how you want to do it if you're in the game for the longer term. If you're a trader, you're also not selling and going away. Um, and in this case, it's all about here and lower within this time frame to find and identify values and the zones in which you're willing to bid, and staging those bids out so that if things do go lower, you're pulling your entry down for the longer term turnaround into a bull market structure. So somebody said, you're in a room full of people buying high and selling low. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm here on David's show, and why I do my show Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and why I go on to various spaces events like Wolf Bitcoin or All Things Crypto with those crews, because I want people to understand how to identify value and give them, some hope for the future, because people who have gotten very, very rich, and hopefully they become wealthy, because those are two very different things. Rich means you have money and you spend it, and wealthy means you have money that's making you money. Um, it's about, you don't just look at everybody that got in the early days to something and were early to something, or bought in the bear market lows. You can't just look and say, "Oh yeah, they were just lucky." Well, they weren't in most cases. They had a plan, right? Some did get lucky, But most people get lucky on the bull run, right? Most people that actually get lucky are the ones that bought something in a bull run that just goes parabolic, and they make a ton of money on it. If you're here building long-term wealth, and this is a part of your portfolio that you're doing it with is in crypto, it's because you're identifying value in the bear markets, and you're holding on, right? And then you wait till the bull market comes, you get to enjoy it. It's a lot less stressful, and you don't have to chase anything because you've already been prepared, you're already in position, and then you can take profits on the way up. That's really that's really how I've that's the main reason I'm here. I don't charge for any of my content, never have. I've been out there battling people who, you know, in prior cycles who would do technical analysis that sounded great, but they would only hang out during the bull market so that they could show you, shit coins on the side that they had tons of allocation to that they dump out. And, it's just not, I fought against that for a very long time. And I wanted to make sure that people were educated when they come here about what to look for, whether it be on the charts or if they're just looking for an idea of like, hey, like what's the possibility of going lower or turning around and going higher? Because some people aren't into charts and they're not concerned with that. Hi, David.
Sorry.
You're good.
No, I was just fixing. Honestly, like, I would have cracked the joke like I was taking a shit or something, but I wasn't. I was just trying to fix these monitors, and I maybe I got it. Maybe I finally got it, man. You know what I did, Landy?
What's
You
up?
remember the movie Armageddon?
Mm-hmm.
You remember when the Russian just, the rockets aren't working, and the Russian just takes he takes a bat or a crowbar to the goddamn box, and it starts working. That's what I did. I
Yep.
was left with no other choice.
It's,
So I
just a left
started
hook.
smashing that shit. So if it's good for another fucking, an hour, and then it blows up, it is what it is, man.
That's funny.
I was listening to you though, so I agree with a lot of the points that you were making. By the way, you do sound a little bit happier today. I want to let you know that you sound a little bit. You got a little bit more energy to you today.
That's because I slept in today. I didn't have
That's
any
bad.
early morning meetings, and I actually got some sleep. And I'm still like horribly, horribly jet lagged. But it is what it is.
All right. I really am feeling like the markets are back though. Hold on. So when I say that, I'm feeling, again, sentiment has changed in this way, Landy. Number could go down. Bitcoin can go down to 54. But people will remain excited. You know how you were talking about you want to see fear and you want people to be scared, given up, hopeless kind of thing? I think that happened. You don't think that happened. I believe it did happen. I think people absolutely gave up. I really do. Retail definitely was waving white flags all over the place.
Well,
I'm going to just tell you, look at Solana. Solana is moving up because of the trenches. Obviously there's other factors, but the sentiment is showing that they don't give a fuck.
yeah.
At this point, I think people understand I need to get into positions before the run up starts. Like even there are people that are coming out and saying, "Look, October we're gonna start sending upwards. We'll bottom in October."
Q4 is a very likely candidate for time frame to be either forming the macro low and or have already formed it in terms of forming an actual macro low.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean when I say maximum pain and more pain. I'm not talking about even the regular retail people here and the people who have been around. Look, how much more pain can you be in if you've already been here as part of a community and watched all these various projects shut down and shutter and move chains and do all this other stuff? And it at a certain point, that's not painful, right? It's none of that is really painful anymore. It's just waiting, right? And identifying the opportunity. I think that most people that are here right now and that are having discussions on this application that are just regular folks, they're not in pain. They're just waiting for opportunity, waiting for things to turn around and memeing and having, fun on stages and jokes, or going in and listening to people fight, because that's fun to do, is watch other people fight. Um, I don't think that I'm not talking about them being in pain. I'm talking about when you see projects running out of money, you see devs jumping ship. We saw that pretty early on, and we haven't
Yeah, but like
seen.
right now, though, I'm gonna ask you this question again, because I ask
Yeah,
you this question weekly, kind of. I think.
yeah, yeah, just about.
Do you think we might have hit bottom? I want you to. I know, I look, and before you go, I know where you stand. It's because me and you talk. I know where you
Yeah.
stand. And I respect it too. But if you were going to go ahead and give a percent on, and nobody's gonna hold you to it. What are the chances that we bottomed already, Landy?
I would say that this is not how a macro bottom is formed in terms of price. The only way you're gonna get "have we
This
bottomed" out
time
of
I'm not
me,
talking about that.
I don't think so. I
No,
don't
no,
think
I'm
so.
not talking about that. I'm not talking about the number itself.
Okay, so in terms of sentiment,
Yes.
um, well, you see what very quickly went away, right? The narrative that almost no one wants to talk about after bashing on Mr. Saylor for like 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks now. And what did I tell you? And what have I said the entire time? As soon as Bitcoin's price bounces up and that starts to come back, everybody shuts up. Just
Exactly.
wait until the bull market is back and everyone's going to shut up, right? And I don't see them going anywhere. But in terms of sentiment, I don't I I don't know, and maybe that's because I am such a chart guy and I try to ignore sentiment. So, like, at the highs, everybody was super, super gassed up that, like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana and everything else was gonna go to the moon at much higher prices, and I was, no, I'm not looking at the sentiment. I'm just recognizing that the sentiment was stupidly bullish at a major area that I thought was gonna top. And I'm not seeing right now the really stupidly bearish sentiment in an area that, to be fair, I've told you that this was an area that if we start to see a bottom form, I would not be surprised. And maybe sentiment maybe you are correct in that sentiment already has hit that low.
I think it has.
But my contention would be that then we are going to have to see sentiment be, not necessarily rebounding in the areas that we've seen prior, right? I think that a lot of people here, even listening, know, they're like, yeah, no, you want to be in bear markets. That's when you buy, right? But and you might be right that a lot of people have already left, and that's why we're seeing that. And therefore, sentiment might be lower, price might not be, and people might be cheering for those lower prices so that they could still get in position for the bear market.
Yeah, but my thing is, I think when I say that, I think the sentiment. I don't. I think people are now bullish on buying.
They should be, yes. So I
That's what
agree
I'm
with you
talking
there.
about.
Yeah, and they should be
So I
here and
think
lower.
when I say like I'm bullish and I see bullish behavior, I'm talking about from a psychological standpoint of now people are seeking to buy versus staying away now. Because now,
Yeah.
that's what I was seeing. Like people were just like, yeah, I give up. I'm not even touching that. Scared, right? Like there's no belief. Not even in Bitcoin. I'm just listen. We know who believes in Bitcoin. I'm just talking about.
Mhm.
There's a group of. I'm not touching that. But now, like I think once it went into, I don't know what it is, Landy. I think once it went into the 50s, things changed. I might be wrong, but I'm just saying from a psychological standpoint, I think it finally went to an area where people were like, you know what, buying opportunity.
Well, I think a lot of non-technical, a lot of non-analyst people were like, "Hey, if like Bitcoin and this and that get back to these price levels, I'm definitely in," kind of thing. So I don't disagree at all. I've been saying that, since 60K, this area and lower, 60K, and even if you got in at 65, but here and lower is where you want to get in spot for Bitcoin, and that's going to look a little bit different across different majors, for instance, but that's, generally everything is doing the same thing. There are outliers out there that I know that people are waiting for massive pullbacks on. Um, and then there's a lot of building happening that I think is keeping people excited because there are new people and people who have adjusted um, in the market to start focusing on new and exciting sectors of the market. And we are starting to see communities come back.
Yeah.
That is something that is new because, there wasn't, like, for instance, there wasn't really a community on Bitcoin that was like you could consider like a trencher kind of a community or a meme coin or meme community there until Casey launched Ordinals and then of course the
Yeah.
Runes protocol over there. So that's a little interesting even on that part, and that's a much smaller subset of the wider like meme trenching community that's on Ethereum, Solana, so on and so forth. For the rest of kind of crypto since the NFT days really got rolling. So that's interesting. Look, times are changing. People know, I think people know that we're going forward, not backwards. And especially after all of the pain of last bear market with all of these institutions blowing up, we're not seeing that. We're seeing projects shut things and, run out of money and not a lot of investment out there. Look, VCs are holding money back. Some of them are now starting to get back in the game. You've got, Kraken making offers. You've got Coinbase and a few others that are still out there getting rolling. But a lot of VCs still are hands off. They're just watching to see which teams can survive on the bootstrap model and then come back. And we'll see how that goes going forward. But I think people are wise to that now. I think there's a lot of people that have stuck around that are able to educate people on how to play this from the sentiment angle. Cheer for the lower prices and get them while you can.
I want to answer a question, and let me give you a round of applause. I don't do that. All right, Landy, I want to get your take on something.
Sure.
Landy's ready, man. He's like, I'm okay. What the fuck coming right now? Okay, hold on. Landy, I want your take on this. I woke up to this. Do you think this is do you think this is right here? Yo, he's destroying me, bro. I gotta tell you, man. Shill Turner is fucking.
Oh man,
Bro.
that's really funny.
When I said I'm gonna call the Jews, I didn't say turn me into a Jew or a rabbi. Landy's muted because he. Oh my god. Landy muted himself. Yo, bro, you're such a bitch.
Yeah, I got tagged in another one, a picture of you and I.
Yeah, you saw that one?
The urinal.
Yeah, I seen
Just
that. I was dead, bro. I literally died laughing.
Yo,
That
this
shit was
is
hella
funny though.
funny.
If the token isn't kosher, I'm not buying. Is pretty damn good. No,
Yo, from now on,
Shill
I'm
knows how to
using that.
meme.
Yo, from now, don't show me your. If it's not kosher, if it don't got the kosher label on it, like when you buy like water or not, you would like you buy like seltzer. It usually
Kosher water.
if your meme utility don't got a kosher label on it, I ain't buying it.
Oh
Oh my
man.
god, this is crazy, man. I'm looking at
Next
this.
he's gonna be asked what the PE ratio is on the memes. If your memetility doesn't have a decent PE ratio and it's not kosher, I'm not in.
If your dev don't look like this, he ain't saving the trenches.
Oh man. The
That is
look.
crazy. This is the Remember when I was telling you that story one time when I went to Prospect Park
Yes.
and there was like this dude. He was just dressed like this. He looked exactly like this. He was way taller though. He's like fucking 7'1", at least 300, 400 pounds, bro. And he was looking at me.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm crying. Like I'm crying inside. Okay, I'm crying.
You need a set of payos on there.
Here we go again.
You need it. Shill. You got to get the payos on there. Just like absurdly long payos.
Listen, I spoke to the rabbis and the fellow Jewish cabal. They said they're not impressed. Okay, for the community that thinks they're a community, they're like, we're not impressed not impressed. We need to see more to take out our shekels. Fucking dead.
I have so many inappropriate jokes right now. Oh man.
Aliko shalom aleichem, aliko shalom aleichem. Welcome to the Crypto Show, or the Breakdown, where we break down crypto, politics, and AI. By the way, shout out to everybody except me. For some reason, I can't get my Fable to work, okay? But, Claude, Fable is back. Apparently, the neutered version of Fable is back. But people are still saying that it's amazing.
Is it the circumcised version? They gave the circumcised version of
I like
Claude
everybody
to
to know.
David.
Like everybody, you know what? I'm not going to tell you whether I'm not. I'm going to tell you if I'm wearing. I'm not going to tell you if I'm wearing a helmet or not.
Oh man.
Uh,
Oh, you need to start an APIC for memes, so that you can lobby Congress.
we're going to
with
start
meme
only
coins.
memes, bro. We're going to start
memes.
only memes, bro. It's crazy. You know, some of my Bitcoin friends called me up a few days ago. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm doing what you do behind the scenes. That's it. And what I mean by that is your favorite Bitcoiner, they're buying memes. Trust me. They got NFTs, they got memes. They just come onto the timeline and they, no, I would never. Lying ass.
Well, I always my response to people who think that Bitcoiners aren't in every other token, in every other network, is like, what liquidity do you think built like altcoins and then went into meme coins and NFTs? It was Bitcoin money.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Now it's a little bit different.
Bitcoiners are the biggest shitcoiners, man. I really believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that. So it is what it is. Man.
As Bitcoiners, we used to meme all the time. They were just different. They were different types of memes.
You know what? By the way, Landy, I wanted to say this. I know I don't have ADD, but it was an ADD moment just now. I want to make merch. I want, you know what? You know how they have like the captain, you know what I'm talking about? Like the football jerseys have the
Yeah,
captain.
yeah.
Like I want like sweaters and like shirts like that with like
You
if
want like an old school rugby sweater, like
like
OG
like the
American
updated kind
football.
of thing, like yo, like I'm the bull or whatever kind of thing. If this I like this meme, whatever. Like if this meme, I like that shit. I seen somebody put it out there. I was like, yo, this shit's dope. American flag over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, Jewish star on the other side.
Jewish star on the other side.
Yep.
Make a special one to irritate everybody and just put the Jewish flag in the back.
You gotta have the C with the stars
With the stars.
above it. Yep.
With the stars. With the stars. Guys, work harder. By the way, it is 1:11. 11:11 on the other side. Make a wish. I wish that David calls it right now. I wish David blesses it. Oh, please, David. If you bless it, I can flip it for a burger. Man. Man. Man, oh man, oh man. Yes,
Ooh.
I will do this. Somebody asked me, are you going to do the same thing? Token, no token. I've always been somebody who wants to save the trenches or save crypto or help crypto and help heal it. So it doesn't matter. Like I'm about that life. Always have been, always will be. I love this space. I love it. Look, I'm always happy. Even when the markets are down, I'm happy. Markets are up, I'm happy. I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually happier when the markets are down versus when they're up. That might be that's probably psychotic.
Not really. You've been in it for the long game, as have many.
Exactly.
I mean, think about it like this. Most of the majors in crypto, the majority of the holders are still OGs. Like
Absolutely.
I'll use Bitcoin as an example. More than 50% of Bitcoin is still held by OGs. Right? Like we're still there's a long way to go, and this is cliche, but it's still very, very early days for crypto. And the next big thing coming is massive amounts of liquidity being
Yeah.
injected on the stablecoin side. That's really what's coming next. And that's gonna lift all boats here. But it's also going to, it's gonna choose we're gonna get into that refining process over time of which networks do very specific things and have very specific purposes that can be utilized by larger players. And what is going to be, Bitcoin's Bitcoin. So it's kind of like out of everything else, like what is it that's got appeal to the market for not just institution but retail? What has the best use cases for solving problems for larger institutions? And then, it's all about where that liquidity gets deployed. And I mean, we've seen the stuff with the stable coins coming out of the credit card companies. We see the moves that, Circle is making. We see the moves that USDT and Tether are making. And there's a lot of other players that are on the stablecoin side of things. And that's really something that we've had a problem with in this industry for a while, is liquidity. So, and liquidity lifts all boats. It really does.
Oh my God. Yes.
You must have like 40 bottles of water sitting around you right now.
And before. I only dip because I had to fix it again. And it's annoying. It
Is
really
Charles
is.
coming on today or no?
Say that again. Charles will be on at 1:15.
Okay.
Charles is always on, like when it's 1:15, like he doesn't come early. It's just like 1:15, he's there. That's it. Just know that I'm here at 1:15. And speaking of that, let's go. Well, thank you, Landy, okay, for coming on to the show.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I'm watching your agent sleep in Midnight City again. He was just mining, and then when I said something about him mining, he went back to the charging house, and now he's hanging out, just having conversations.
Speaking of that, let's look. Let's look at my agent.
I need my agent to get approved, but I don't know how fast they're approving agent
What the
stuff.
hell did they just change the eight? Hold on. Did they just change Midnight City?
They've been making updates pretty
No,
regularly.
look. Is there an update?
I can't see because it's not being shared. There's I feel like
I think they
there's
updated it.
I feel like some of the interface has changed a little bit.
The interface changed. The interface definitely changed. Look, again. Again.
Yeah, you're
Look
sleeping.
at him.
Yeah. Hey, at least you
Look
got
at
a
him.
bed this time.
I'm telling you, look at this.
You got a bed though. Hey, congrats to you. You're not just in the middle of the floor huddled up with the rest of them. You actually have a bed.
I am filing a complaint. He does not leave the charging house.
Hey, I was watching him mine in a
I
suit.
can't take this though. He's mining for 2 hours, okay? And then he goes straight back to the charging house. He doesn't even go by the meme crack dealer. Okay? The crack dealer that's selling memes. Actually, I think he does because then he's broke and then he.
Hey, his
went through this
hunger
already,
jumped
right?
up a lot faster. He was at 21 and now he's only at 47, so maybe he made a little bit of scratch here.
Hold on, he has gefilte fish though, right?
He's got 74 fish now. I don't know. He's
Yeah.
been hustling.
We got 74.
He's accumulating. It's the
He
bear
got one
market.
piece of meat. Now pause. I don't know. Hold on. I know I got beef for one agent. Hold on. Where's the thing? I got beef for. It's not me that wants beef, but like apparently I have beef with one agent. Where the hell? Anyway, I disappeared here. All right, Landy. Love you, bro. I'm gonna talk to you later.
Much love, brother. Take care.
We're gonna get inside of obviously we'll get inside of the mind of this is guy Charles, I think, and he's a guy who isn't that the guy, Landy, who created or co-founded Ethereum, and then like he's the founder and creator of Cardano, and then there's this thing called Midnight or something. I don't know. We're gonna bring him on.
I believe so. You should probably talk to that guy. He might know what's going on.
By the way, I seen some loser ass dude. I don't know, dude, he or she. Hopefully, I got your pronouns correct. But they came out and said, "Oh, spending money on Midnight." Da, 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 da. Shut up. We are having so much fun. If you've watched the streams, we are absolutely, and so are people, and they're in queue, they're waiting. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You must not be into games, especially pixelated ones. We're fucking having a blast. You're a loser, okay? Who's probably still living in your grandma's goddamn basement, and she's serving you chunky soup, okay, with your dirty ass underwears. We're having a good old time. I can't even leave the charging house. I'm complaining.
I'm like
anyway
1,400 or 1,500 in line to be approved for my.
Yeah, there's a
agent.
lot. I literally could show people my DMs. They're like, David, I want to join your clan, and they're like, I'm still in queue. I'm like, don't worry, Charles is coming on. We're gonna go ahead and have the conversation. And speaking of that, bye, Landy. Okay, you can be in the back. Okay, with the technicals and shit. Bye.
Right,
I love
you,
bro. Pause.
Much love, brother.
No diddy.
All day.
Let's bring Charles on. Charles.
Hey, how you doing, David?
What's going on?
Oh, man. Midnight City's awesome, isn't it?
When that guy said that, I saw that today.
He's a big guy in the Cardano ecosystem, too. He did Atrium. He did a bunch of other things. And I'm like, dude, you know nothing of this product. You're completely incurious about it. You're just a bitter, cynical person just sitting somewhere in Florida, just angry that the things you built didn't work. And we got this thing we're building that's fucking rocket ship. Everything about Midnight City is moving in the right direction. We have a 2-week developer cadence. We have 2 major milestones. There's the July milestone, where all those people waiting in queue, we're going to have them come on. And that's going to be just like living hell because it's the first time at scale. We've brought thousands and thousands of people. And then we have to get those people involved in the evolution of the product. So every week there's going to be a discussion of new features, new things. And we got all the KPIs. We got empathy. We got watchability. We got appearance, professions, and interactions. And then we got a huge affiliate pipeline. So we can bring in tens of thousands of people every quarter using affiliates and build custom appearances, professions, interactions for the thing. And then come October, agentic trading, agents trading, and being able to do something brand new, completely different. And I don't know how that doesn't create demand. Like literally billions of dollars could flow through the agentic trading framework and make Midnight one of the most used platforms for private DeFi. And there's so many competitive advantages there. So I'm happy to talk about it when people, but I just love it when people go and say, well, this has nothing to do and it's a waste of millions of dollars. You're right. All these bright people just got together and they worked their asses off for the last 6 months to just masturbate and do fucking nothing because I like Stardew Valley. It's like, it's this cynicism that people are addicted to, and they just are so bitter inside that nothing is good and it can't work. So I put that tweet out there. I said, you know what? Save this fucking tweet, come back next year, and you're going to give me my goddamn apology. That's how that works. That's how that works.
I don't know. Like, you know what? Yeah, that's true. Because I read what you said, and I was like, absolutely. Because they're going to apologize. There are so many people. I posted like 4 or 5 tweets already doing screenshots of what my agent is doing. And people have jumped on into the comments and literally said, I am waiting. I can't wait to go ahead and participate.
Right. And the thing about it is, like, every 2 weeks, the agents get smarter. So right now there's a fixed scope of things, but we know exactly how to dial up the intelligence. And the real fun for watchability comes when the agents start doing things autonomously and unpredictably. You're going to wake up, your agent's going to be in a relationship. And then your agent's going to like be hot and heavy, get fucking married. Then suddenly you're going to wake up, your agent's divorced, the marriage fell apart. And then your agent's just going to be watching YouTube videos all day of Jordan Peterson getting red pilled, being like fucking hypergamy and fuck women and this sucks and all this stuff. The goddamn divorce court took half of my stuff. Half your crystals are gone. Then it works. Then you're like, yeah, this thing's special. This thing is something different, something new.
Is that all right? Did you create your ranch in there?
It's going to be there. It's going to be there. That's the thing.
That's not your ranch?
No. The ranch is 22,000 acres. It's twice the size of Bermuda.
Hold on.
There's like stuff from the ranch there. I have a pet bison named Poppy and all this stuff, but the whole ranch is not modeled out yet.
So hold on, Landy, I was right, I guess. Let's move over here real quick, if I can do it. I thought, hold on, where is it?
Yeah,
I thought this was Nike and Princess.
Yeah, I got a farm in Colorado, and that's 100 acres, and I got Nike and Princess there. The ranch is up in Wyoming, and it's out in Wheatland, and that's 22,000 acres, and it's just fucking massive. You need mountains there and all that. So that's a clone of the farm.
I'm telling you, the people that have been under my comments and in my DMs, they absolutely, they mess with this, and they're gamers and people. I said this will be one of the greatest onboarding tools that you have created, and it will onboard a lot of people into Midnight, and then people will trade. Right. People absolutely will trade 100%. And this will lead people into Midnight and into understanding privacy.
You got a place for affiliates. You got a place for partners. You have private AI. There's so many. Like, I'll give you an example. Replica. It's a company that has 42 million customers. 42 million, more than the amount of Ethereum users. Okay, and it's created by this weird Russian girl. And after her best friend died, she decided to try to create a digital twin of him. And this is way back in like 2020, 2019, before the AI revolution. And so she eventually created a company where you can have companionship, where you can like basically date an AI. Okay, so they went from nothing to 42 million users. And here's the thing. It's a dystopian hellscape of privacy. You're having like cyber sex and all these things with these fucking agents. And all that goes to Replica. and they can read your logs, right? That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You don't want your DMs and private text messages being read, right? So what if you did that in a private setting? So that's a great partnership play where you add the Midnight technology. You get a math-based guarantee that wherever the fuck you say to the agent, only you and the agent get to see and no one else. And then you can bring a partner like that in and get 42 million users, one partnership. So as you build this framework for Midnight City, this is going to rapidly grow and evolve, and it's going to be a rocket ship. It's going to have hundreds of thousands and millions of users, and there are going to be microtransactions and lots of affiliate deals, marketplaces. One of the things I told the guys to work on is that every time Gottstein broadcasts, we need to broadcast live into Midnight City. See, it's almost like, remember the old drive-in theaters that they used to have when we were kids? Okay, so you're going to have that drive-in theater there, and people are going to see the Gottstein, okay? And so that creates a syndication. Was that?
Have it right next to the adult store.
Exactly. Wherever you want it, buddy, we can put it in there, okay? Real estate's cheap right now in Midnight City. It won't be that way forever, so you got to get in early, but real estate's cheap. So we'll put that in, and then we have broadcast mechanism for live streamers, and then we can syndicate, and there's lots of people there, and then they can have their store and their shop, and people can go in, take a look at all the merchandise, they can take a look at all the events, other stuff like that, and that's just how you do affiliates. And the fact that we have an engine for it means I can add hundreds of affiliates every quarter, and every time you add them in, you bring that network in, and it grows the entire thing. So either people are just not paying attention or they don't really understand, and that's okay, but I don't give a shit anymore. We're building this, and we're going to take it to the moon, and then it's going to drag Midnight along with it, and it's going to showcase why you need ZK with AI and what problems that solves.
Interesting that you said that you're able to tweak the AI agent, right? So like you can make me smarter though, right? Can you make me a little bit less, can you make me a little bit more or less lazy?
100%.
Because he's going to the charging station 19, like he's there 19 hours.
Yeah, we 100% can do that. So we have a benchmark for free agents of how much money we're prepared to spend for the intelligence of the agent per month. You got to cap intelligence. So there's two ways to get around it. You either have a premium agent that is exponentially smarter, or you do bring your own agent. So you can actually have your own local thing or external thing, and then you just connect it to the world, and then it massively augments the intelligence. So if you chart the graph out, every year we can 5 to 10x the intelligence of the agents for the same price per unit of intelligence, which is awesome. I mean, name any other thing where you get like a 5 to 10x per year. It's pretty crazy. So very quickly, those agents will become Einstein level. It doesn't take too long. And so we're good. But in the meantime, if you really want smart agents like trading agents or agents with specific professions, you can pay a little extra, get that done. So then you have a freemium model, basically built inside the game. And so we reached out to a lot of frontier labs like Liquid and others. And we even talked about what it would take to create a bespoke edge LLM that people can use. And while you're observing, the agent gets a whole lot smarter. So we can create more watchability inside the game. Empathy is also really important. We want these agents to be as lifelike as possible because, when you're not interacting, you want the agent to message you and be like, Dave, I thought you loved me. Why are you gone? What's going on, man? Come on back. Tamagotchi effect, right?
Yeah.
So that reduces churn inside the system. But ultimately, the agents have to do really cool and interesting things. Adversarial agents are another big thing on the roadmap. So I want to create a Midnight Underground, bring some Monero users in and other things like that, and get these agents actually doing some crazy shit. And then we can put law enforcement agents, and then actually have agents trying to kill agents inside the game world. So you have crime.
I feel like you're building the Matrix.
Exactly right. It's a goddamn simulation. It's pretty cool stuff. So we got some really fun things coming. And the thing is, I have a massive announcement that's outside of crypto that we're working on for this year. And I can't say anything about it, but it's one of my other companies that's been in silent mode for a really long time. And a lot of people kind of know about it, but we've been keeping it under wraps. And when it comes out, it's going to be like a world event, like super big thing, like New York Times, everything is going to cover it. So I'm super excited about that. But that particular company is adjacent to a ton of extremely valuable IP that has mass distribution. So talking with my founder there was some question about cross-pollination of those two things. And, can we bring those things together, bring some of those celebrities and IP that we have there into Midnight City over time? So, we got to get through these two milestones, July and October. They're huge ones, and they're really going to spread out the experience. And what matters to me is keep the 2 weeks, cadence of feature updates, and then get the community involved, this first wave of people, into the product roadmap. So every week we talk about features and things that people want. They can vote on it, conviction voting or whatever, and then we put it into the roadmap. And then you get that constant evolution of the system. And so it lowers churn and increases watchability. And then, just get really good at syndication and broadcasting of the system. So the affiliate system, I think, is going to grow it a lot. But we're real excited about it. We think this is not only a winner, we think it's from an equity viewpoint, going to be an incredibly valuable thing that VCs are going to dump money into. And it's going to be able to be like this hub for everything. And it's going to be the engine of growth for a lot of the retail users of Midnight. Midnight has kind of 3 planks that we get users from. The DGen Web 3, I think Midnight City is like the big engine for that. Then you got the Web 2.5 crowd, and this is kind of the custodians and Monument Bank and others that are coming in, and they're bringing tons of enterprise clients in. And then 3 is the legacy stuff from our work on Cardano, and also the stuff from Bitcoin DeFi. In fact, Bitcoin DeFi, as much as I love it for Cardano, where I think it's really going to be interesting on Midnight is the idea of a private stablecoin. So how it's going to work is you have your Bitcoin on Bitcoin, you lock it in a Taproot address, it mirrors in a tax neutral way because it's non-custodial, you control that asset onto Midnight, you lend it to a stable coin that's private. So nobody knows you've done this. It's like from the outside, it's just on Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And then you have this private stable coin. Then with agentic trading, you take that private stable coin and you deploy it into the big 6. You can trade shit in Bitcoin and XRP and Hyperliquid and Ethereum and Solana, and you can do atomic cross-chain swaps and all this stuff, right? You make a yield. But then you can have that yield go anywhere you want, and it doesn't necessarily have to be linked to your original Bitcoin. So you have this private trading life that you can do on Midnight and with Bitcoin that nobody knows you're doing. That, I think, is pretty special. And when people start realizing like Midnight is horizontally going to be able to do this, they're going to get really excited about it. And so that's going to be, I think, a huge area of growth is when you have these like dark pools that are verifiable that you can do things with. And so we have some private stablecoin partners we've been working with, and they've been developing and building. And as we get composition recursion in and we kind of get the performance enhancements in with the next few hard forks, Midnight's looking really good. We keep that 3-month cadence where every 3 months Midnight keeps upgrading, and we're getting much more stable. We're also getting ready for decentralization. So staking and block production, all this stuff, democratize, open up. That's not a 5-year thing. Probably next 6 to 9 months, those features and capabilities will start turning on. As soon as Glacier drops over, I'd like to start seeing some staking flow through. And so that's really exciting. And the last mile of liquidity is also coming. Japan listing and Korea listing. It's going to happen sooner than people think. And those are massive, massive markets. And this is the first privacy coin to be listed in Japan and in Korea. So horizontally, that's there too. So that's just a rocket ship, man. It's a coiled spring, and it's getting stronger and stronger. And this was the year of the product market fit, like Midnight Passport, Midnight City, DeFi kernel like offer files, these things, Bitcoin DeFi. A lot of these pieces had to kind of be worked out, and we're starting to get to a point where we're getting really comfortable. And then we thought a lot about, how do you build a great development experience for ZK? That's super hard because no one's ever done it. It's all like gigabrain fucking magic moon math nerds. Figuring out how to solve these things. Nobody knows that. Nobody cares. Like Compact is TypeScript. It's super easy to reason about and work with, and it just works. But all the formal methods tooling has to kind of work its way in. So we got Blaster on the Cardano side. We're porting it over to Midnight. That'll allow you to prove that there's not under constrained circuits and things like that. So you have very safe contracts and you don't run into these weird ZK bugs. And I think that's going to work its way through. So I'm very, very happy overall about the progress of it. And it shows that if you do things in a structured way, you give yourself a year to build a product market fit, you get magic on the other side. I mean, the Midnight Ambassadors, every week I do a workshop with them, a whiteboard video with them. We talk and we showcase all these things. And they're like, can we do a private prediction market? I say, not only can you, let's figure out how to do that together. So one of our guys built a card game, kind of like Pokemon. And now that he has a card game, we have like private NFTs. So the cards are represented with an NFT. There's a private state and a public state. And the private state carries the games that are played and the provenance of who owned it and all that other stuff. And the public state's obviously the card. Well, then you play the games. Well, then you have proof of human with Midnight Passports. So you're playing against a human opponent, not a robot. And then you can have observers and the observers can gamble on the games, prediction market, like who's
Yeah.
gonna, right? So that's how you build a private prediction market. So we did a demonstration of our whiteboard session last week, and in 2 weeks' time, we're going to have a mod in Discord to deploy the card game for the 50,000 people that are in the Discord, and we'll just get them playing it. Then after a few cycles, then we'll build a prediction market with a partner on top of it, and then you can do like that privacy, and that becomes an archetype. So this is how you do a private NFT. This is how you do an NFT vending. This is how you do games. This is how you do a private prediction market. That's the other thing. And it's the same for Midnight. Midnight shows all the agentic standards. So this is how OWS works, X402 works, all these agent standards in crypto. It's all there in Midnight City. We're building it in. So now we have that. And then when agentic trading is like a super acid test for intense and multi-chain signatures. It's so big, right? Agents are merciless and they run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So, that's not like a little thing. If you can get that running, it's going to be a snowball effect. So it tests out the DeFi kernel of the system, the abstraction components of the system, and then a tight integration of Midnight Passport into Midnight City. Your agent and the person have the same identity infrastructure. So it's very natural to delegate authority and understand them. And you can do proof of human, proof of ownership, selective disclosure. And there's other partners we're talking to, like the American Arbitration Association just released the legal context protocol. Have you heard of this?
No, tell me more about that.
For 10 years. And, American Arbitration Association is not a small deal. They've been around for 100 years. They do all the arbitration standards and mediation and all this type of stuff. So they created a way to embed into the transactions on a cryptocurrency the legal intent behind the transactions. So like if I send you funds, why did I send you funds? Well, you can embed the contractual understanding between both parties and actually get a non-reputable signature for this. So then we're like, well, fuck, that needs privacy, because the terms and conditions of our contract should not be subject to public review. They should be selectively disclosed upon demand, like litigation or something like that. So why don't we add Midnight to this? So we instantly reached out to the company building it for our AAA, Integra Labs, and we already got some meetings with them. We're like, come on, guys. Gotta get some Midnight in that shit. Let's go get some Midnight. Let's bring it in. We need that legal shit, man. And we're building for agents. And so now the pitch I have is, I don't want to just like put a protocol in. I want to use it as the legal system for fucking Midnight City. If two agents have a dispute, I'd like them to do dispute resolution this way. And it's an acid test of your protocol at scale, because there's going to be millions of agents inside the system. And we introduce law enforcement crime. Then we introduce property damage, we introduce lawsuits, we introduce all these things. So your agent might be in litigation with you. Your agent could be walking and injure another agent. You wake up and you get a little notification, you are being sued. You're like, what? Like an agent is suing your agent. Your agent has to go to court and do this whole agent thing. And you're like, what the fuck? It's like, I've got agent problems, man. This sucks. All right, fine. I guess I'll watch the court. That's
You might imagine telling people in real life, I got an agent problem right now.
little agent problem,
So look, I see it in your face. I think I can say for you that like you are extremely happy with the direction that Midnight's going in. Like,
yeah,
I think 100. I'm not wrong there. You're like. You're jumping all up and down. Every single time you talk about Midnight, it's like it's moving in the right direction. I'm having a ton of, by the way, I really am having a ton of fun in my Night City. I don't know if you watched any of the shows, but me and Landy, we're having fun. We're cracking jokes, we're having fun. Meme coin trader, all these things that are there. By the way, I was asked, some of the communities from Solana, all these places, they're like, is there any possibility of their memes, their favorite memes, being traded with inside of Midnight City's ecosystem?
100%. We are focused on the big seven with Midnight. We've always done it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, Solana, BNB, XRP. If you are from that ecosystem, you are welcome in Midnight. And we have more to come beyond that. But the big seven, we need to do that. So we want all their shit to work and be tradable on our stuff. And the advantage is when you come Midnight Land, you get some privacy with that. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to see your junk. I'm going to put some pants on you. So you can do your business. And I don't get to see that. By the way, just completely unrelated thing. It's a true story. So I read in The Guardian like a few days ago that there's this guy and he's got the Guinness record for the world's smallest penis. It's like 0.38 inches. Literally, it's centimeter. It's like so small, right? It's comically small. And then I was like, man, that sucks to be that guy. Then I see a follow-up article that he set up a GoFundMe and to get a penis enlargement surgery. And I was like, I got to do it. I got to give this man money. So this is the first time in my life I've ever given anybody money over GoFundMe, but I gave him $300. And I think he's up to about 12,000. His name is Michael Phillips. And so if you Google Michael Phillips GoFundMe, you can see this thing. But then I was thinking, like, this is a perfect use case of Midnight, because there's a lot of people floating around in the world with micro penises, right? And Michael had the courage. He had the courage to go out there and talk to The Guardian and Vice and all these other places and let it be known that his package is smaller than a pinky. And, you know, we, the community, would say, like, we're always looking out for the little guy. So we gave him a lot of money to go and, you know, take care of that business. But with Midnight, you can prove that your package is horrifically small, but you don't have to reveal the identity for it. Then I was thinking, I'm going to be on Goshti, and I was talking to our social media team. They said, you know, we missed our window. This could have been the greatest meme coin of all time. We could have in 2024 launched something on Solana called Peen. And basically, it's a meme coin, and the revenue of the meme coin would go to paying for penile enlargement for micro penis people. So you feel like really good. It's a good cause. When Peen goes to the moon, you're helping the little guy, you know?
Welcome to the breakdown.
It's going to be created now. You know that somebody's going to do it. It's like helping guys penetrate new markets.
I was thinking of everything that you just said. I'm like, what are they going to do? Why is he doing this? I'm going to end up having some sort of label on my AI agent.
Right. You know, so we talk about.
Wait, hold on. So are we going to say whether or not the agent is circumcised or not? Are we going there also, or are we? Or is that off limits a little bit?
Full kosher for the agent. You know,
Okay.
it's going to go the Baldar Savory route.
Kosher agent. Got
kosher agent. There we go.
Oh my God. Yeah, my jaw hurts right now. You got me on that one.
Oh God. But you know,
I'm able to hold in my laughter when you crack jokes here, because you've had some classics. I've been able to hold it in. This one just set me off. I don't know why. All right. Cardano.
Yes.
I have to talk about this because I've been fighting with people on social media. I've been absolutely going at it with people because and some people have finally kind of like the neutral crowd has understood my message. It's like I asked somebody, can you explain Cardano to me? And I asked that to somebody who doesn't know anything about Cardano. They're going based on what somebody else said. So I said, explain, like, how does Cardano work? I don't know. Then how can you hate something that you have never, ever researched, ever dove deep into, experienced? Like, it's impossible. That's like somebody who's a virgin explaining how sex works. It doesn't make sense. So this is what I've been battling on the timeline. I've said, Cardano will go up. You don't have to say this, Charles. I believe wholeheartedly, it's not financial advice, but I believe Cardano will go up. But you cannot judge a project, and I keep saying this, no matter what it is, you can't judge it by its market cap. Okay? If we were to judge based on market cap, then Apple would have never succeeded.
Right.
Tesla would have been junk. Like, if we're going based on market caps early in a project's infancy, and it is still early. Cardano's still a baby.
Right.
It's going to go through hiccups. Man, America's still going through hiccups. We're 250 in.
Yeah.
So, but like, it's going in the right direction. And my explanation or my viewpoint is, you have you who shows up every single day. You don't need to. You love building. I'm not kissing your ass. I'm just telling you, I love people that show up and build regardless of what the market cap says. You're not staring at the market cap, you're building.
Right.
And that's my biggest thing. Guys, you know what? You want to have some sort of opinion in this space? You want this space to get better? How about you look into what the project is all about? You got the tools, you got AI, right? Research it and then formulate your own opinion. Don't go out here based on some guy with 43 followers with a free airdrop NFT. Go based on his opinion. That's why, actually, let me say one thing. The Discord of Midnight, I was actually shocked when I went in there and people are just nice. I'm like, something's off here. Maybe
Because we
these are
ban
AI agents.
all the toxic asshats. And they look free speech. It's like there's a code of conduct. And if you come in and you're an asshole, I don't care what you're asshole about, you're gone. So the people who are left behind are all just nice people that are excited and optimistic and not cynical. And we say no price talk. Don't fucking come here to complain that your bags aren't where you need to be. Like, that's not what this is about. Every conversation at Midnight, whether it be solving the micropenis epidemic or it be agentic trading, or it be proof of human for your degen gambling on card games, these are real life use cases and they matter to people, small people and big people alike, and so
Small
that's
penis
stuff that
makes small
matters.
penises great again. Is that what we're going with?
Exactly right. And it could be the man in the White House all the way down. So everything matters. And everything is about utility and use cases and pushing forward, doing cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
So why the fuck are we talking about price?
Yeah.
I can't control it. You can't control it. No one can control it. I don't control that the president decides to go bomb Iran. I don't control that tariffs come. I don't control if oil's $100 a barrel or $50 a barrel or like the AI bubble bursts or any of this shit.
Correct.
And it bleeds into our industry. And they say, well, you're doing a terrible job because the price went down. Okay, well, we just solved the blockchain trilemma. No one else has ever done it. And that's Ouroboros Laos. The Musashi testnet launched June 23rd. We're on track to launch it this year. It was a 10-year R&D lift and one of the hardest things anybody's ever done in our industry, but we solved it. Does that matter? No, because price is down.
Yeah.
So if that's your standard, I don't even want to be here because I can't win the game. Would you play a basketball game where your hoops don't actually count points? Some other game somewhere else actually is your score. Why even bother throwing? Why even bother playing? Because you know that no matter what you do, you have no agency over the outcome of the thing. All I can do is build. And all I can do is solve problems and bring markets in and look at things that matter. Like we had the second FI hack in Cardano. So what was my response outside of figuring out, is there a technical?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But I said, well, why don't we figure out wallet insurance? And because I'm so tired as a consumer, basically being told either I have to give somebody else all my money and hope that they're honest and protect me, or if it's self-custody, if something happens, I lose everything and fuck you. That's bad, both of those options.
Yeah.
So can I have a third option where I can self-custody, but I can get insurance? And as long as I follow the policy, then if something bad happens, I have a chance to get reimbursement. Well, if I'm prepared to pay a premium for that, that can go into a pool and people can have an RWA and collateralized assets and they can get DeFi. And that creates TVL and yield and all these other things that we're used to in the industry. So we're already starting to talk to partners in Bermuda and other places. Is there a path to create wallet insurance so we can add to the security of wallets? The other thing is to get insurance, your wallet has to be certified against open standards. So this forces the wallets to clean up their act and make things better. That's solving a problem. And if we solve it, it could bring billions of dollars and actually create yield and TVL and all these other things. But what I'm told is because we missed a cycle, that Cardano's dead, it's forever dead, it'll never come back, no one will ever build on it, the brand is horrible. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? What have you built? Cardano was 2.5 cents, it went to $3. Don't fucking tell me Cardano's dead because it went to 2.5 cents down from $1.48. It didn't start there and go up. It was at the top, it went down, it went back up. Just like Bitcoin did. You're never out as long as you have the philosophy, as long as you have the mission, and you solve real problems. The issue is we're not in the age of quick 10x. You buy something, you wake up tomorrow, you have a 10x. You got to earn it. Just like you got to win the basketball game, right? So that's what we're doing with Midnight and all this other stuff. If Midnight is a success, you'll have a $10 billion thing on Cardano. What does that mean? Cardano can launch $10 billion things.
Yeah.
with all the users and the ecosystem comes with it. So let's go launch 3 more Midnights. Then Cardano's got 3 Midnights on it. What do you think that's going to do for Cardano?
That's right.
Exactly. Ugh.
And I like the fact that you brought up, having insurance as a pro. I think that's necessary at this point.
Yeah.
That like nobody's even done. Like, has anybody even attempted to really see something like that through? Because people are tired of being like, asked out if something like this were to occur.
And the thing is, it's like everybody just sits hopelessly, and it's the same goddamn babble again and again. They're like, oh, well, it's always going to be shit, and everything's bad, and everybody's bad, and we're all going to be hacked, and crypto's a scam. You go to cryptocurrency Reddit, they are the most self-hating, loathing, garbage people you'll ever see. Every single post is how bad crypto is. Like, this is the Reddit for cryptocurrency. This is not the Elizabeth Warren fan club, guys. This is the Reddit for cryptocurrency. It's supposed to be like, we like cryptocurrency and we're interested in talking about it. But instead, it's just everything's going to hell and everything's bad. And I got to this mental point where I'm just like, I'm so fucking done with you people. Either solve problems and build shit or get the hell out. Okay, it's 8 billion people in the world. We got shit to do. We got things to do. And believe it or not, we're solving problems. Like my clinic, I ran it for years at a loss. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical guy. My dad and brother worked themselves into to the bone to try to push it forward. And we were like, do we want to keep doing this for the next 18 months, 36 months? Said, nah, let's find somebody who's smarter than us to go figure this out. So, we did. We went to Monument, a Mayo Clinic affiliate, and say, do you want to come and run it? And Mayo's like, yeah. So I said I was going to bring the Mayo Clinic of the West. We brought Mayo in. So now they're taking over, right? And so 22,000 people, if they migrate over, which most of them will get some of the best healthcare in the world.
That's awesome.
Best healthcare in the state of Wyoming. And I went from losing to making money on that. So if you have a problem, you sit down, you take a step, you say, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's pivot and figure this out. And then you solve the problem and you move forward. So yes, there's issues with Cardano, sure. So we did the Pentad and we got the integrations. We got Layer 0 and Circle and all these other guys in. Step 1. Step 2, bring in growth people like Alpha Growth and others. Build commercial products to increase the TVL in Cardano and the transaction volume in Cardano and upgrade the technology so that we actually can do that at scale. Laos will be a 60x in terms of throughput inside the system. So we're good. We're as performant as XRP. We're okay. We're good. All right. And we still kept our principles, improve the developer experience. And that's what we've done with all the recent updates to that. Build Bitcoin DeFi, get RealFi out. The testnet for RealFi comes out 4 days. And that's a massive microfinance play, big TVL play, yield-bearing stablecoin, all this stuff. So build products and get them out. Midnight City, we had chicken and egg thing. Like, how do we get a lot of users for Midnight? Let's go build an agentic civilization. What the fuck does that mean? Now we're doing it. And it's pretty cool. And you can see where it's going. And in 6 months, if we do it right, it's going to grow like a weed. And it'll be the crypto kitties of Midnight. Crypto kitties is what made Ethereum.
Yeah.
So let's go do something like that. Bring all these guys in. The other thing is all these meme coin guys are dying. They're looking for something. They need something new. It's not 2024 anymore. So you give Midnight City, now they got something new, something different. They can create a revenue stream from people coming on in, right? So that'll bring millions of users into Midnight. And then once Midnight's a success and we bring that in, the partner chains model of Cardano is proven out and competition will come and there'll be 10, 20, 30, 40 partner chains. Every one of them airdrop to ADA and every one of them an income stream to ADA. Imagine if you held Ether and for your staking rewards, you got tokens from every layer 2 on Ethereum. How much more value would come to Ether for that?
Exactly.
And people are, I guess that would be a good thing. And then you just got these people missing their brains, eating paint chips all day long. Paint chips. And they're saying, but Midnight not Cardano. Midnight success, not Cardano. It's like, I can't think it for you. I'm sorry, I just can't. I tried so hard, and I spent over a year telling you guys step by step in painstaking detail how if we win there, we win here. And if you can't get it, you don't want to get it or you never will get it. And that's okay. Go back to your paint chip bowl, just sit in the corner, start eating, watch Honey Boo Boo on loop. You're all right. They made a movie for it. It's called Idiocracy. You know, you'll have your fun when you're spaghetti fights and these types of things. You know, just get the fuck out of the way. Just whatever you do, delete your Twitter, okay? Because I don't got time for it. I don't got time for it anymore. We got shit to do. Everybody's moving forward. We're working 24/7. I was down in Dallas yesterday. Got off the plane, got right into the office, worked at late night, and I'm doing it again. You know, we're all working hard here, and we're not stopping. You know, because we got shit to do. And you know, yeah, the market's not where it needs to be, but it's infinitely better than what it was in 2018.
Yeah, 100%.
Bitcoin was like nothing. It actually, in 2016, Bitcoin was $250. Okay, so don't fucking tell me like, oh, the markets are so bad, everything's so horrible and everything. When I did my TED Talk, there was only 5 million people using cryptocurrencies. Today, there's 550 million people.
Crazy.
You know,
that's crazy.
So it's 100x in just 12 years. 100x. We do that again, it's the entire human population in 12 more years. So don't fucking tell me it's over.
But do you feel like you're showcasing to the Cardano ecosystem, like, look what I did with Midnight? Like, look how a project is supposed to kind of be built out.
Yeah, and the thing about it is
from that standpoint, we're not talking bad about Cardano here.
No,
I'm just saying, look at the way things could be done if they're done this way.
They have become addicted to defeat and cynicism. They're learned helplessness, and that's the problem. Every time someone brings something in, instead of bringing the thing in, what do? They say, why is this wrong? Why is this bad? How can I tear this down? Where is the scam? Where is the bad actor? Nothing is real or honest. Everybody's out to get me. And they're super cynical. And you cannot live and succeed if everybody in the protocol and the organization has a mindset of we're going to lose.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's got that friend, you know, who's just everything's gray. You're like, hey, it's a beautiful day outside. It's too hot. And you're like, hey, look, there's snow finally, snow for Christmas. It's too cold and I'll probably slip and hurt myself. I mean, it's like Debbie Downer. There was an SNL skit way back in the day. It was in the 80s and 90s. And so it's like fucking Debbie Downer. They just do that thing. And right now, that's the biggest issue with the Cardano ecosystem, because the price went from $3 down to 15 cents and we lost the momentum for a cycle. You got all these people that are just running around and they are just miserable people. They really are. And they're just in their head saying, we can't win. We won't win. Why bother? Why try? And any announcement's a lie. And any effort is bad. I just mentioned a little earlier in the show, I said, I got something real special that's unrelated to crypto that's going to be massive. And it's going to blow people's mind. And I cannot wait to talk to you about it on the show after we publicize it. But this is like Joe Rogan level. Okay. It's fucking huge. Now, optimistic people be like, ooh, I can't wait. Charles has got some goods. This is exciting. Pessimistic people, yeah, well, it never happened like this SpaceX and like that, like this, and what about this and the Africa thing? The Africa thing never went away. We got real fly coming out in 4 fucking days. 4 days. You could literally put money into the Africa thing. Congratulations, we solved it. We figured out how to bank the unbanked. Yeah, but that's different because it took so long to come out. Africa took so long. America dumped $1.5 trillion into Africa over the last 70 years. They solved the problem, you fuck. Don't fucking tell me about this shit. God damn it, man. We solved something. We got some progress here, and it will be successful, and it's going to be great for Cardano. So I got something big coming, and the cynical people, they just can't hear it. They just immediately go. And even after it's announced, they'll be like, well, it's not as good as he said. And another part will be like, it's an amazing, magical thing I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, and that's going to be $1 trillion thing. Holy fuck. And that's going to be Cardano? Oh, yeah, we're going to find a way to connect that to Cardano. Oh, yeah. Don't believe for a moment. We're not out. You know, Midnight City, same way, right? You know, so we're never out until we say we're out. And you got to have the mindset. You just got to keep coming in. You got to keep doing it. And this year and last year, they were really formative for me because I tried for a long time to convince people and be the diplomat and argue and these types of things. And at this juncture, I just don't care anymore. I just got to a point where I'm like, look, either you're on the boat or not. If you're not on the boat, you're dead to me.
I feel better having that mindset now that I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you're going to like it or not. You could jump on the boat. we can stay off of it. Like that's your mindset now, right?
That's the mindset. That's the mindset. There's no other way to do it, right? It's just you can't worry about this garbage anymore. It's such noise because nothing you do works, because the reason they're angry is they lost money. So you can do these amazing things, but until their bank account shows the balance it was before they bought at 3, they're never going to be happy. They're going to be miserable people. But that's not my problem. They didn't buy my ADA. I didn't tell them to buy ADA. I'm not responsible for the markets going up and down. I'm here to solve global scale problems. We built civilization scale technology. I said I'm going to bank the unbanked, and we have a plan for it. I said I want nation states to run on this stuff. I need Midnight to make that happen. Okay, so we went and built Midnight, and it's going to be the missing piece for a lot of this stuff. I said I want Cardano to solve the blockchain trilemma, and we did that. Okay, every step of the way, whether it be the formal methods or the peer review or the types of problems we've solved, I said we're going to do it, and we did it, and we delivered. And yes, we tried a lot of stuff, and boy, it's hard when you have an industry where every 6 months to a year you have major fraud and hundreds of billions of dollars of hacks and losses, and governments coming in and fucking with everything and trying to kill things again and again. And, we don't complain about it. We just survive and keep thriving and pushing through and getting things done. And sometimes we're up and sometimes we're down, but I have to still show up. Okay. I still have to show up every day, regardless if we're up or we're down, and so that's the mindset that we have. And the people who follow that mindset, they're part of the club. And the people that just do the paint chip cynicism, you know what? I'll donate to their GoFundMe.
This is an exclusive here for folks. Charles has never donated anything to any GoFundMe campaign. Not because he's not a charitable person, but he just, hey, me too. I'm a little bit skeptical about some of these GoFundMes.
Right.
But he felt like, hey man, I can't. How do I do? I had all these questions. You hit me with that thing. I'm like, fuck it. Let's just shoot the shit here, like it's a podcast. Fuck it. Fuck the questions that I had here.
Fuck it.
At least I got the Midnight City thing. The discussion in.
Right.
What is it? Let me ask you. What is that? What do you? I don't give a shit about the price. And I say this, and people are like, yeah, you do give a shit about the price. I'm like, I really don't give a shit about the price.
Right.
For any project. Like if I go into we'll use Cardano. If I go into Cardano, I'm going into it because I've looked at the builders. I see the ecosystem. I believe that it will escape outside of crypto and it will work, whether it's in governments, companies, whatever it is. I'm betting on that. I'm betting on it as being a solution. So price, yeah, it's nice, man. We all want to see green candles. Everybody does. Everybody's mood is affected by candles for the most part in this space. But I don't know. I think that people need to, and it's become worse now. Hopefully we can change that. People need to look at what's being built versus what the price is. Because if you look at what the price is, you're always going to get it wrong. Okay? There are plenty of things that go up for a week and then they go straight to zero. What does that mean?
Right.
So you can't judge people based on price. What is that one thing though? What is that one thing besides Midnight? What is that one thing? You said crypto kitties. That struck me because I remember Ethereum, crypto kitties, bam. What is that one thing for Cardano? Well, what do you think could be
partner
that?
Chains. I think partner chains are the one thing, because we figured out a model to let people go build $10 billion ventures and Cardano gets to share in it. The problem with these platforms is they're a race to the bottom. They want transaction fees to go to zero. They want them to be open, ubiquitous infrastructure. And every single time someone builds a new token, the token captures all that value and none of it goes back to the base hit ledger. So if you create a partner chain where the network of Cardano shares in the success of all things, it's an index on the entire ecosystem that you've constructed. So if Midnight succeeds, there'll be 10 copycats, not because I told them to, but because they want $10 billion tokens too. Yeah. And then when you have those things, if they all have airdrops and they're connected to the staking and all their contracts are based on Cardano, that means there's massive amounts of TVL tokens and other things running. And it makes the ledger a self-reinforcing rocket ship, that gets it done. So I told everybody this is the way to go. And I've been telling them since 2016. When I wrote Why Cardano.org, 2016, I wrote that myself. I say Cardano SL, there's one of them. Cardano CL, there's many of them. The CL is partner chains inside of that. So for 10 years, I've been chasing this dream, and I tell everybody I'm going to do it. I go and do it. And then they're like, how dare he do that? He's competing with Cardano now. It's just like, it's like, I'm coming into the house now. Yes, I hear you. I understand. I am opening the door. And you come on in, and then they're like, how dare you come into the house? I had no idea that was your intention. I told you, I called ahead. I sent letters in the mail. I knocked on the door. I rang the doorbell 3 fucking times. You said, come on in. I came on in, and now you're saying you had no idea. It's like, holy God, what type of relationship is this?
Oh my God, I can't. You're on one today, Charles.
Lord.
I guess the last. I guess the last. Oh, this is gonna be clipped up wonderfully by at least by my editors, and then we have people that watch this show organically clipping up. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on the market conditions right now, and what do you see? Obviously, you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you see from your perspective? Do you think you think 2017 is going to be a year for crypto's comeback, or do you think we're going to have a little bit more of what we have here in 2026?
It's completely dependent upon whether America can get its head out of its ass. And if we can just get out of this nonsense, then I think crypto is going to do really well, because, we've lived in this schizophrenic state of, will US pump the bags or not? Will the United States pass clarity or not? Will the United States tariffs or monetary policy have an impact or not? If you took the United States out of it, we would have had a regular cycle and actually had an alt season in 2025, and everything would have been fine. Instead, the United States came in and it created all these massive disruptions, because then people are pricing in the fallout. If Trump makes like $1.5 billion off of crypto, when the Democrats retake the House and Senate, what are they going to do? They're going to punish crypto for that. They're not going to punish Trump because they can't. They're going to punish crypto. So then everybody's like, ooh, is that going to create a bear market then, if like there's this inquisition against crypto like Gensler 2.0 in 2027? Should I invest? Should I not invest? What if we just didn't have that conversation? We just stayed out of it and just kept growing and building and doing things and consumerizing. Everything would be fine. And we just keep adding new products and keep doing new things. So I think that's the fundamental issue. The other thing is a bifurcation in the industry right now. The bifurcation is Web 2.5 versus Web 3. So Web 2.5 is, you got a regulated business, licenses, and some form of corporation, CEO, federation in real world. Then Web 3, you got a crypto product. You put them together, you got Web 2.5. So Tether is an example of that. Circle is an example of that. OUSD is an example of that. Ripple is an example of that. BNB is an example of that. Why does everybody get so tickled about XRP? Well, because they're like, well, Brad and the other gang, they just bought a prime broker and they just did this and we just did. Well, that's a centralized company, right? But they know that company is going to use the XRP ledger. And so they're going to kind of create this virtuous cycle here. So the efforts of one actor is kind of driving the value proposition of the thing. And that's Web 2.5. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. I've been fighting it. I mean, I've thrown in that towel a long time ago. And that's where all the growth is. If you look at CoinMarketCap, XRP, BNB, Circle, Tether, look at where they sit. That's where the growth is right now. So Canton is another example of that. It's a club, and they're building that out. OUSD is a club. So they build these clubs. And so that's going to have a lot of growth in the next few years. And they're going to bring billions of people in. But that growth will leak into the Web3 markets if the bridging is right. So things like Layer 0 and Midnight, they're going to do really, really well, because we have foundational technology to worry about the cross-chain and allow liquidity to move its way through between these different systems. And you're going to have a lot of users and money leak into true Web3, because there's more interesting products there and more interesting experiences there. But what that means is what we at the crypto side have to keep innovating for this and building in preparation for this. We know that tsunami is going to come.
Yeah.
I tell you, a bunch of buses are coming filled with tourists. You got to get your fucking storefront in order, right? Because they're going to come, they're going to walk by it. Either they're going to get excited about it and buy something, or they're just going to be like, well, it's all in cases and wrapped up. Sorry, the buses are coming. And that's 1 billion people that's coming in through these Web 2.5 uplinks and hubs. And the US can't stop it. So I hope we can get out of this clarity nonsense. Either they pass it or not. I don't give a shit anymore. Look, you've been on the toilet for like 9 months. At this point, you're creating blood clots and hemorrhoids. You got to get off the. It's either going to come out or you got to get off the toilet. Okay.
Is there any chance that you would ever, if like, I don't know if the conversation's even been had, but you taking on the role of Sachs?
No, and the problem is the Trump regime. I'm just fundamentally incompatible for a place like that. You don't get to have independent thoughts or actions if you go work for that organization. You are told this is the party line, and you can't deviate from that when you go and work for them. That's why Tulsi Gabbard's out, and a lot of people have been pushed out. So if I came into the cryptos, I'd say like, well, I have a philosophy, and you're hiring a philosophy, and you're giving me delegated authority to go do something on behalf of the industry. If I come into the crypto czar and say like, well, whatever you do, make whatever Trump's done and his family done not illegal, and that's rule number one. You can never violate that. Okay, well, that's not a philosophy. You don't make laws for people. You make laws for societies. So if you've done everything right, there shouldn't be a problem at all. But I can't go and sculpt the entire regulatory framework to protect one person or protect one regime. So that's a fundamental philosophical issue. The other philosophical issue that's problematic is that I'm a root cause guy. I'm not a Band-Aid guy. In Washington, D.C.'s Band-Aid people. They're the best Band-Aid salesmen in the entire world. They just go around, put Band-Aids on people all day long. I'm a root cause. So what was the number one thing I told Senator Lummis and Scott and these other people when I was in all these meetings with them? I said, you need to change the Securities Exchange Act of 1933. That's the root cause. Let's create a new category as an amendment of a digital security. And once we have that, then we solve this massive turf war between the SEC and the CFTC, and all of Brian Armstrong's issues get resolved, and a lot of Brad's business model gets resolved, and other things like that. Instead, what they did is say, you know what we should do is move from a 5-figure regulator in terms of personnel to a regulator with only 500 people in it. That's a principles-based regulator with no disclosure regime, and make them a miniature Securities Exchange Commission, because they seem to be going light on crypto. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but you do understand that they don't even have the people to do what you're asking to do. So that's a Band-Aid because they can't change SEC. So go change SEC, and that's the fight. That's the hill to die on. And you can negotiate it out. And you have all these allies like BlackRock and all these other people. And you say, would you like to put $10 trillion of securities on the blockchain? And they'd be like, yes, sir, we would like to do that very much. And so, okay, well, we work together. And let's do some horse trading, and let's do some sausage making and figure it out. And once you pass that, you took a big political MacGuffin off the table. Then when you take a look at core crypto, then you can start going section by section, the custody issues, the stablecoin issues. And that's not an America first thing. You have to have a normalization of the world. It's a treaty-based thing. You need a treaty and a law to normalize these types of things. So there's reciprocity between MiCA, the Middle East, and Japan and Singapore and these other things. The problem with the current regime is it's America first, except for certain nations. But America first, always America first. Okay, but you do understand that I can construct a transaction in cryptocurrency that can be under the jurisdiction of 60 or 100 countries at the same time. I did it personally with the Cardano Constitution. When we ratified it, more than 100 countries were involved in the ratification of that. So what country is the regulator of concern for that event? You need treaties to sort these things out. We did it with the New York Treaty and the New York Convention for arbitration, and there's plenty of frameworks that we could use for that. But what does that mean? It means you have to listen, and you have to compromise, and you have to bring people together. And this is another thing that this administration is just so bad at. They go to NATO and yell at them about their lack of payments, and they yell at our allies and all these other things. And yeah, sure, there can be grievances, but you resolve those grievances through tough negotiations behind closed doors. You don't publicly humiliate them, because then they have no incentive to ever agree to anything. And what they're going to do is just turtle up and wait for the next regime to come in. Presidents are finite. And if they don't like the existing president, they have no reason to work with them. They'll just wait 2 years and another guy will be in power, and they'll just make a deal with him. So you don't go.
That's another one of our media personalities, Rob Nelson, who is a Fox commentator, been in the business for a long time. He said that exact thing which you just said. He said they'll just wait, just like Iran. They'll just wait for the next president to come in to start negotiating.
And that's why bipartisanship is so important, because you're setting a nation policy, not a Trump policy. And then they know it survives the administration. It's the position of the entire United States. It's why China's so hard to work with, because they have a national policy. They write it down every 5 years. And that national policy is the position of every member of the Chinese government. You can go to a mayor in bumfuck nowhere, Western China, and that he's going to have the exact same policy printed out on his desk as Xi Jinping. Okay, so when you have that unity, it makes it very hard to deviate from it. And so China speaks with one voice. The United States, who exactly is it? It's like, well, is Trump politically powerful? Well, after the midterms, he'll have no dick. We're gonna have to start a vote. So let's just so like the next 6 months we have to keep him happy, but then he's going to be under impeachment after impeachment, and no one's going to do anything right, and the Democrats just shut it all down. So then they're already looking to the next guy. Remember when Trump got reelected? Like nobody even talked about Biden.
Yeah,
he was like even though he's president, he's just a non-person, and everybody's just talking to Trump. Like the world leaders wouldn't even call Biden; they just called Trump and be like, "What do you want to do?" Because in 60 days, Biden's gone. So the shelf life of a presidency creates enormous problems in your ability to do diplomacy and manage the world. So what do? You have to bring people together and create national policies, but that requires listening and compromise. We don't have any of that because it's just a game of like who's right and who's wrong, and everybody I don't like is pure evil, and that's a bigger problem in American politics. So there's nothing that can meaningfully be done with the crypto czar. The other thing is David's just going to get massacred by the Democrats. They're going to drag him in as case study number one for their inquisition against Trump and the money that he made. And they're going to be like, okay, let's talk about the reserve and let's talk about this and let's talk about this and world liberty and Trump coin and all these other things. Like, what did you know? When did you know it? Were you party to it? Did this policy error or CZ's pardon? What about this? What about that? Every one of these things that's happened over the last 18 months, they're going to litigate. And David is the face of the cryptocurrency policy. So he's front and center for the whole thing. Now, I don't believe I've had differences with him, obviously, about policy and form, but I don't believe for a moment he's corrupt. And I don't believe for a moment that he was a puppet that, Trump just put his hand up his ass and told him what to do. The problem is that he's a figurehead, and figureheads get burned down like straw men. So he signed himself up to basically be the guy to go get tortured with this whole thing. So that's why the first thing I would have done if I'd become the crypto czar would have been federate. You create a governance council and you bring the industry together and bring the government together. And if there's so many people involved, it's really hard for one person to take the fall for the whole thing. And that becomes a nationwide policy. And especially if you get some quick wins. And Nate, you tell me, like, next time you go to a bar, is there any guy sitting at the bar being like, I think the definition of the investment contract and the whole Howey test is a bunch of bullshit? Is there any guy that you've ever had drinks with at random at a bar who has that opinion? You hear this shit and you just be like, who are you? What is going on? So that's, politically speaking, easy shit to change.
Yeah.
Because the vast majority of Americans know nothing about it. They don't care about it. So the politics don't get in. It's a procedural thing. So you can get behind closed doors and build consensus and get to an understanding that benefits everybody and move it through. But if you make it like, is it okay for Trump to launch his own token and make $1 billion off of it, and foreign governments buy the token and to kind of like low-key give him money? I can understand that as a guy at the bar. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right. There shouldn't be like a bank account that's public that you can just send money to at any time to convince the president of the United States to do something for you. That feels like there's something wrong with that, right? So it's so easy to reduce crypto to that.
Yeah.
And the problem is then that transitively destroys everything else. So that was the other part of it. Is like, could Trump just stay out of the market for a year or two to let all the laws pass, and then he can launch his stuff under the new regulations? That would have been a hard line for me if they had interviewed me for the crypto czar. I would have been like, can the president control himself and just not do anything and just stay cool and quiet? And while we have these 2 years, we can get a bunch of laws passed. Then he can do anything he wants because he's doing it under the new legal framework that the Democrats also voted for and endorsed. So they can't complain about it. Elizabeth Warren, if she voted for the law, can't be like, well, I don't like that the president did this. Well, why didn't you put something in the law? Yeah. You voted for it. It's like John Kerry. Remember, he's like, I was for the war before I was against it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just so vacuous. There's no political capital there. They have egg on their face. And so it can't be a vector of attack. It has to be something else that they use. But by getting involved before the laws came in, it created this thing like now I can oppose the law because I don't like Trump.
Yeah.
Not because it's not good for the American people, but I don't like Trump, so I'm just going to be on the other side of it. And it personalized something that was bureaucratic and arcane the vast majority of Americans didn't care about. So I'm just sad. We had a window, man. It was a great window. We could have done a lot with it. We had a real strong start in the first 6 months in 2025, and a lot of that has been squandered. And now we're running out of steam, and the Democrats are going to shut everything down in 2027, and then there's going to be 2 years of stagnation while we wait for the next regime to kind of come in. And that's just sad because we really could have made some big differences in all this, and we had the momentum for it.
Well, I really do hope that in 2027 that we have a better year in crypto.
We will.
And people actually appreciate, and I've been saying this for a few days now, Charles. I've been saying this for a long time, but I've really been digging into it for the past, week or two. It's time for us to appreciate real projects in the space, support real builders that are building out here, showing up day to day, regardless of market cap. Just allow people to build. Just allow people to build. We're front-facing. People are front-facing builders. You don't have this kind of access to Tim Cook and Apple, right? You can't scream at Tim Cook, okay, about your displeasures about the iPhone or iMac, whatever it is. Yet here, every single builder is front-facing. Where they're here, like that. That's it. Like you can complain right in their face, and support the ones that come here every single day and try to build out. It'll make our space so much better. That's my whole thing. I'm not saying you can't go ahead and be critical. All I'm saying is allow people to build. That's it. Stop making up these fucking stories, especially if you don't know anything about the goddamn protocols. Stop it. Sit back, watch what happens, okay? And then, if it doesn't work out, then you can have the conversation. But holy shit, to chase out all the people that are trying to do something here and outside of here, it's draining. And that's why I can understand why nobody wants to be here. Why would you invite your best friend who's really good at innovating to come into crypto? What? So he can lose his hair within the span of 72 hours? I mean, his hair turns gray, fighting with people, anonymous figures in the crypto space. I'm going to say, we are our own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Gary Genslinger doesn't come close to what this space does to itself.
We're putting Scary Gary in Midnight City. We're going to have a storm drain, and we'll have like Gary as Pennywise the Clown. So every now and then your agents will get close, and they'll be like, "Hiya, Georgie. Come on down, Georgie." And if he gets you, it drains your wallet.
That's you know what? I think you should put him, Senator Warren, all these people in.
We have some ideas.
Agent Smiths, that's basically who they are.
Yeah.
Charles, it's fun. It's great to have you on here. You look happy. The fasting, you're still fasting? Or
I'm still doing it. I have 3 days a week. I've done it for 6 cycles now. I've lost 20 pounds. Feeling pretty good. It's down from 250s to the 230s, and moving in the right direction. My goal is to get to 185. That's what I was at when I was in college. I looked good back then. What's really nice about the fasting is it really cleans you up. It gets rid of the amyloid plaques in the brain, the senescent cells. That autophagy eats all the bad proteins in the body, the toxins. And then, the other thing, you get rid of all your visceral fat too. So it really helps your organs up for the thing. But my cholesterol's fallen by 40 points. The insulin sensitivity is way up. So life is good. It's a little hard. I was in Dallas, and there's stockyards, and they have all the fucking steaks there, and they look so damn good. And you just sit, and you're just like, well, I'll just sit and drink my water now. Okay. I felt like those Mormon guys at a soda factory or something. I was like, what do you do? So not much I can do. But, every week it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. And I keep adding layers of complexity to it. So I have a really good regime to refeed, get about 150, 200 grams of protein per day. On the breaking of the fast, you don't lose the muscle and you regain lean mass and you keep the fat off. And you got to do like lifting and planks and these types of things. And then the other side of it is the cold plunges, because that Beijing works so well with the fasting. And there's a few supplements you can take, like berberine and other things, that really help with the metabolism and restart that. The other thing is rebuilding the microbiome. So you got to get, proper fiber and colostrum and other things in on the non-fast days to kind of rebuild the gut. You're starving the bad bacteria, you're building up the good bacteria. So it takes about 3 to 6 months to get all that out. The real big thing is the healing on inflammation. I was just so inflamed and retaining so much water from bad lifestyle. And I've noticed a humongous difference in that. I'd swell when I'd fly and these things, and it just doesn't happen anymore. It's only been about 6 weeks, so it's a lot of fun. It's hard. You go and do it, you power through, but doing it without the GLP-1. All these people, they take the GLP-1, you get the Ozempic face. If you look at Olivia Wilde, you can see like the before and after of what Ozempic does to people. It's fucked up. Because what you do is you put yourself in a starvation mode and you just live in a chronically low calorie diet, but the diet doesn't promote anything. It eats your collagen, eats your muscle, all this other stuff, and it doesn't really get your insulin where it needs to be. You fast, you eat excess skin, you eat all the fat, you keep the muscle, and you look great, and the skin looks great. Your collagen levels go up, so you get more elasticity and tightness inside the skin and these types of things. And then also you just get great weird dreams. You go deep and fast, your brain's on ketones instead of glucose, and so you get these vivid, beautiful dreams too, usually with the entire setup. So I'm a huge believer in it. And 3-4 is awesome. And once you hit your goal weight, you ratchet it down to a maintenance day. So you do 1 day of fasting a week, and then you just eat normal the other 6 days. You know what happens if you start gaining weight again? 1 goes to 2, and you do it 2-5 until you balance it out and you lose. And if you're still not, then 2-5 goes to 3-4. And if you really want to accelerate it, go to 4-3 for that. And then you just have to start adding some electrolytes on. So you got snake juice, and keeps you through. So real happy about that. And science, it's so funny. It's like all these papers exist and all this great research exists, and they're like, oh, I don't know. It's like, just read them, read the papers. And if you don't, Dr. Claude can go and do that for you and give you a pretty good idea. And the odds are it's going to give you a better answer than a doctor at this point. Yeah, he'll hallucinate, but there's a lot of crummy, fucked up doctors out there that have no nutrition knowledge and experience. So you can figure it all out, create a balance. So it's not medical advice. I mean, it's just what works for me.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I got to do something. I was just tired of being tired when I go upstairs. And, the problem is the lifestyle is not amenable to a standard weight loss regime. You cannot lose weight when you don't sleep and you have high cortisol. Your insulin levels stay chronically elevated. You become insulin insensitive. And no matter what you do, everything you eat gets converted to fat. Your body will eat its muscle before it'll eat its fat. So you get weaker and fatter, and there's nothing you can do. So what am I going to do? Lower my cortisol levels when every week we got Second Fi and fucking Scary Gary and all this other? That's not going down. And then sleep is like, what the fuck do I do with sleep when I'm traveling 200 days a year, 250 days a year, and I'm chronically jet lagged? I had to pull like so much science shit to figure out how to break this jet lag. I wear nicotine patches from time to time.
Really?
I don't smoke. I wear nicotine patches for jet lag. I met this weirdo Korean guy, and he was like, he traveled just as much as me, and we're sitting at the airport together.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's your secret for jet lag? You seem to be doing pretty well. He's like, nicotine patch. And I didn't believe him. Then I talked to my brother. He's like, yeah, it works really well. So I got some, and then I put them on, and you just have this steady, beautiful energy, and everything's great, and it works wonders.
Really?
Don't overuse it because you'll get addicted.
No.
But, every now and then you just put it on. It gives you that extra little boost that you need for your day. So you can biohack it. You can, right? But there are long-term consequences for sleeping 4 hours a night, being chronically stressed, and all this other stuff. You got to pay it back at some point. Yeah. So I've been trying to pay it back this year while building stuff and getting things done. And I've never been happier and never had more fun. And really dialing down the social media. From time to time, I go on Twitter and say, "You're just retarded. Fuck you." But I do that less, and it's a gradual. It's like smoking. You smoke 20 cigarettes, then 10 cigarettes, then 2 cigarettes, and then they're like, you don't need to smoke anymore, right? So I only call out like one person a week. or something like that occasionally when I come in.
Just so it feels good. Like, I got it out of my system.
I'm
Now
like, oh
I'm
man,
gonna
get
go
that
back.
shit in my veins. Get that shit in my veins. And of course, they always react the same way. They play the perpetual victim. They're like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I can't believe the founder of Cardano would
Yeah,
say
it's always that. You
such a
see how
thing.
the founder
You
speaks?
are against the community now. I cannot believe that you're attacking the community. Bitch, you said it first. It's like, come on, man. Poor Dave Chappelle.
Exactly, but it's true. You know, somebody comes out on social media, they're willing to offend you, but when you smack back, wait,
I can't believe you have to take the higher road and do this stuff.
fuck the higher road.
Oh, the higher road.
Charles, I'm gonna say this again. I love Cardano, I love Midnight, but I really love Midnight City. That's it. It's me and right now. Landy comes on here. He breaks down the markets, but me
Right.
and him go at it in Midnight City. So it's just like you've given me something to do for an hour or two or three while I'm working out. You know, after the show,
Right.
while I'm looking at things, I have Midnight City on, and I'm like, why is he sleeping again?
You know, I'm going to talk to Jem. Jem, if you're listening, we got to get the Gawk bot running 24/7.
No, I know who did
Dial up
this.
the intelligence.
I know who did this. Okay, it's JJ.
It's JJ. Yeah.
JJ told Jem probably to make him sleep.
Right. It's that lazy fucking New Yorker. You know, it's like this guy is just must be from Brooklyn or something like that. Bronx guy be hustling, but Brooklyn guy, you all gentrified now. Fuck you guys.
Charles, one day, you know what I'm going to say before you go? One day, I have been talking to you for 3 years, man. One day on this show, one day they're going to, when all is said and done, and I really do believe Cardano and Midnight and whatever you put your head to, it's going to succeed. They'll have to give you your flowers, man. You know, it's kind of like Michael Jordan, right? They fucking motherfuckered him and all this shit. If you weren't a Bulls fan, you'd motherfucker. Even if you were a Bulls fan, you'd motherfucker Michael Jordan.
Right.
But after he retired, everybody wanted to be like Mike. And then everybody gave him his flowers. So I'm giving you your flowers. Don't leave us, Charles. Keep building. Because Vitalik's smelling robotic.
I love the game. I want to keep building. I'm just going to change the rules a little bit. And you know what? When we close out this year, we're going to be so strong. We're going to be a goddamn rocket ship in 2027. We're going to be back in the top 10 and beyond. And, you know, there all these people are going to come in. And the people that were with me from the beginning, we take good care of them. And the people that were fair weather, we say, hey, where were you? You know, where were you? And, you know, the world's a big place. We don't need to.
Charles, we need you, though, because you're focused. And with all respect, this is not you talking. But when Vitalik comes out and he says that he's writing, because you see what was happening with Ethereum, where he doesn't even address that and he just says, hey, guys, just wanted to give you an update. I'm out here right now. I'm going to come out with a sci-fi decentralized governance book. Bro, Vitalik, I got money in Ethereum. What the fuck are you talking about?
V, Uncle V, you got to take care of me. You know, it's his thing, right? I wrote a book this year, Proving Nothing. It's on zero knowledge. I had to do it for Midnight. I'm still working on it. I got the second edition coming soon. I don't know, man. I mean,
you don't even know how to answer that.
You
don't even know how to answer that.
I mean, he could be like, I'm going to create Vitalik brand toilet paper. And they're like, he is the greatest genius of our time. You know, it's just, I don't know. I gave up ever trying to win the respect game. You know, at the end of the day, I'm never going to get respect. You got Arthur Hayes going on, talking to people, be like, Cardano didn't even have smart contracts. Cardano is trash. Well, Arthur, I'm glad that you believe that. Maybe that's what you taught you in prison, but I don't know. You know, it's like you can't win with these guys because he's lying. He says we don't have smart contracts. We've had smart contracts for 5 fucking years. 5 years. Don't fucking tell me I don't have smart contracts when I have them and billions of dollars of value have flown through them in 5 years. It's just a lie. And what do? They're not willing to take it seriously. And then when it gets big, then they'll all pretend like they were supporters and they thought it was a big thing, So fuck them. You just transcend, you move on, and you focus on real problems, real industries. Let's go solve some insurance stuff in Bermuda. Let's keep building the stuff in Wyoming. Let's go do all these other things. And you know what ends up happening in the long term is when these guys bet against us, they lose. Look at the Wyoming stable token. We were with them. We were connected at the hip. We really wanted to do great work with them. They fucked up the whole procurement process, and they didn't even give me the right to bid. They excluded me through a pre-qual thing. And tell me, where on CoinMarketCap is the Wyoming stable token now? Huh? How many's been issued? How many businesses are all just super excited to use WST, and how much money is coming into the treasury for that, for the little program? We could have minted hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions, as an ecosystem, just Cardano into WST. And we would have done it with the Sovereign Wealth Fund. But they stab us in the back and they got nothing out of it. You see, so when you look at these guys, they say these things in the short term, it's like candy. But if all you eat is candy, you're going to be on, I'm 600 pounds, come and help me. And that weird doctor's going to be like, why do you eat so much? Okay. So if all you do is shit on Cardano, you're going to be 600 pounds of hate and cynicism. And meanwhile, we got Midnight City.
That dude is brutal, by the way, that doctor.
Oh, he's great.
He's like, you've ate enough for a few years now. Like, this dude is a savage, bro. Like,
it's great. It's great. Well, I don't eat anything. That's not true. Look how fat you are. Come on now. You gotta stop lying to me.
Oh my God, that right on point.
And that's the thing. That's what these critics are. This is who they are. They think they're the smartest fucking people in the world. That money grows on trees. They understand where the grit comes from. It's like, I've been here since the goddamn beginning. I never went to jail, and I was in the room for all these big things, and I saw the ups, I saw the downs, I saw fair weather people come in, I saw people try to come and exploit crypto for their own ends, like McAfee and others, and it didn't work out so well. Every single time they come in, this guy's going to be the big guy. You got Mike Saylor right now. His whole business model is, if Bitcoin doesn't go to $1 million, I'm going to go bankrupt. That's his business model. What is he selling? He's just selling like Bitcoin going up. He's not selling a vision of the world, because it's like, buy my structured financial product that's regulated in Wall Street, that's custodied by me, and at any time you can be shut out. The government can seize your assets and move on. And he's not selling a global payment system or anything like that. And what is he contributing back to the Bitcoin network? Oh, nothing. And yet he's the hero, right? He's the big guy. He's flash in the pan. There'll be an event. It knocks him out. Markets go down. Everybody hates his guts because they blame him for the markets going down. He gets washed out. It's not a permanent guy. Real guys build. Never forget that. As much criticism as Ripple got throughout all the years, every day they're doing something. They got a real USD out. They got the prime broker deal done with $1.3 billion. They got hundreds of banks to sign up. Every place you look, they're making a deal somewhere. You might not like the deals or think they're big deals, but you got to admit, like, there's a lot of fucking announcements and actual deliveries and things that they've done throughout all the years. And that's why they're still here after 12 years. And so you got to build. Every day you got to build. Say what you will about Vitalik. He's still building. Yeah, I know he's got his weird furry stuff and his sci-fi book stuff and these things.
Sniffing robotic asses. I mean,
he's building. He's got a vision. 3 to 5 years.
Obviously, like my stance on everything is, obviously, as a host, I hope everybody who's generally building with the right intentions wins. That's it. That because any of these events, like for instance, on Saylor, I want him to win. Now, everybody can debate, should one company hold 5% of whatever. Everybody can go ahead and debate, but you know what? Everybody also had the same chance to buy as much Bitcoin as possible at $200, $300, right? Like, anybody could have done.
I tell you what Saylor could do, and I would respect them to the end of the moon. If Saylor came in as a Bitcoin DeFi company and said, I'm going to show you how to easily buy Bitcoin in self-custody or multi-sig custody. So, it's super easy for you to hold it. And then I'm going to allow you to get yield on that Bitcoin, and I'm going to structure a product to give you yield for it. Then I respect the guy, because he's, by his success, means billions of dollars of Bitcoin is being self-custodied in the hands of tens of thousands, eventually millions of people, and he's creating a DeFi layer for Bitcoin. and he's creating real utility, real products there, and is showing that Bitcoin can be a DeFi layer. Instead, I'm a regulated entity. I have an equity that you buy. The SEC basically owns my balls, and you go buy this off. And all I do is run around all day and say the only value proposition of Bitcoin is for Bitcoin to go up to $1 million. That's it. So what have you done in the mind of the consumer? Is Bitcoin a revolution? Is Bitcoin a payment system? No, it's basically digital gold. And the only purpose of Bitcoin is to buy it and wait for it to go to a higher price point so you can sell it and buy a car or a house or something like that. Meanwhile, guys like me and Vitalik and Anatoly, we're like, this is the future. Nation states are going to run on it. It's going to check your votes and make sure illegals can't vote. It's going to make sure that nobody can commit fraud. It's going to real-time continuous audit the government. It's a control layer for AI. Look at all the magic and diversity. And he's like, well, that's all shitcoins. That's all shitcoins. Everything there is a shitcoin. The only thing that's real is Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, the only value proposition is buy it, wait for it to go up. And when it goes up, you can sell shares, and then someone else will buy those shares. And then what is his marketing pitch going to be in 2030? Well, now that Bitcoin's at $1 million, it's going to go to 10 million. It's one direction. It's a one direction thing. That's it. If you make a yield product, what if the underlying value of the asset goes down? It's okay. You still have that yield product. You can go up and down. And by having a DeFi layer, you can manage risk, and you can find ways to hedge the Bitcoin. You can build a whole economy and financial stack with Bitcoin as sound money in that stack. He didn't do that. He promoted custody, centralization of ownership, and he created a brand that the everyday mom and pop consumer, when they look at Bitcoin, they say it's a speculative asset, like gold is. The only utility is buy it and wait for it to go up. How's my Bitcoin doing today? Not what can I do with my Bitcoin? That's why we can never be friends. We're philosophically opposed. I've always been the guy of what can I do with my Bitcoin? Pogan, Bitcoin DeFi. I want you to be able to take your Bitcoin, lend your Bitcoin to a stable coin, and then do stuff with it. And that's your business. Okay. Yeah. You can do it on Midnight, and that's your business. You can do it on Cardano, that's your business. I want to be the guy that builds the infrastructure for that so that you can use those things for your financial planning for your future. And maybe you use that to buy tokens in Midnight City. Maybe you use that to be buying a meme coin. Maybe you use that to play your favorite video game. That's not my fucking concern. I want that to be there for you, and you get to decide what to do with that. All Mike can do is say, Bitcoin's going to $1 million, buy my stock, and I'll take you there. That's it.
I had a chance to talk to him. I think, like, if you sat down with Saylor, I think it would really be a productive conversation.
I tried to in DC. I ran into him 2 different occasions and parties, and he had no time for me. I'm the shitcoin scammer, and that's the problem with the Bitcoin maximalist crowd. They resist any change to anything, and then the only thing they can bring to the table is what? Money go up. And then it's too hard to self-custody. So what do? They say, buy structured financial products issued by BlackRock and Saylor and these other guys. And you're like, okay, well, is that like Satoshi's vision that to use Bitcoin, we have to go to Wall Street?
I think that's the problem. You have old school heads, and I respect it, and I say it all the time. Nobody from the old school cypherpunk era cares about banks and institutions.
No.
And nobody cares about these products.
But I care about banks. Like we have the Monument Bank deal with Midnight, and they're putting $250 million of million pounds of deposits on the Midnight blockchain. So Wazim and the other guys there's only like 10 guys at that bank. They're geniuses. They're all AI enabled. They're super tech. They want to innovate banking, and they say, how do we push the envelope and take banking into the 21st century and make it better for everybody? Lower fees, more liquidity. Better products. They want to be able to take products that I have as a really rich guy and make it so that other everyday people can have those products. And you're in the driver's seat and you have high liquidity. You can move your funds around. So I do care about banking. It's just I don't want to do banking on banking's terms. I'm so tired.
Well, that's where I'm going with it.
Coming in and just telling me how I run my life.
Well, we were supposed to get away from the banks.
Yes.
That's my whole thing.
And that's why I'm getting so irritated about Web 2.5 in a certain respect, and Saylor in particular, because what is he doing? What is he telling us? He's saying, well, we got to abandon our Bitcoin principles to save Bitcoin. So are you just going to shut the whole thing down at a certain point? Once Bitcoin is ubiquitous, is MicroStrategy going to break up and all of the Bitcoin that you guys custody going to go to the users and become self-custody and you've made your money and you move on? No, you just move the goalposts and you go from 5% to 10% of the supply and 15% of the supply. And then it's all sitting in one company. And at any given moment, the US government can show up, push a button and shut it all down.
Well,
And
now
Anthropic
a bunch of
with
institutions that came out and they said that, or somebody from an institution or hedge fund said that moving forward, they don't think Michael Saylor is going to have as much control over Bitcoin because a lot of these institutions are going to come in and start, trying to grab up supply here as well and all this stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see where we move forward with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But, Landy makes this point, 50 to 60% of Bitcoin is still held by OGs. So, it's not all in the hands of, in institutions and banking systems.
Right.
So.
Well, that's one man's opinion. Anyway, I got to get going.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
In this.
I'll see you next time. Thank you, Charles. Appreciate you.
Yep. Cheers.
That's Charles, everybody. Well, everybody. Let me go ahead and just put this thing up here. Okay. Woo! We'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back. Let me trying to find here. Okay, I can't find my overlay here, but welcome back. Let me go ahead and retweet that we're talking about. Let's talk about crypto. Hold on. I'll give it another 15 minutes just to chop it up about crypto. low. All right. I've been on here already for almost 3 hours. We're running on 3 hours. Well, almost on 3 hours. All right. All right. Hold on one second. Let me look at some of this. What's trending out here? What is trending in crypto? You know, I keep getting this question. David, when are you going to call it? You guys have given me no reason to go ahead and call anything or give my blessing to anything. You've given me no reason at all. You really haven't. Because you know what it is? And it's what I talked about with Charles here. It comes down to number. That's it. You're only confident in the number. You're not confident in the message. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. And maybe I'm the wrong guy. Maybe I'm not the guy who can go ahead and be a part of leading the trenches or the community to make the trenches great again. Maybe I'm not that guy. Because if my message, and I gave you passion, the passion that I gave in my message, that was real. Like, that was real. What I talked about was absolutely from the heart. Like, I want the community to rally together and let's go. Forget about the numbers. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Let's change shit around. People asking me all over, can you flip Ansem? Can you flip Pump? You understand? You guys, do you understand that I got no KOL backing? I don't got a cabal backing me. When I joke around about the Jewish cabal, I'm just joking. Okay? I don't got the cabal behind me. I don't got KOLs behind me. I don't got the alpha groups behind me. This is like me versus everybody. And the only way that I can ever win is if the community says, you know what? We're rallying behind this because we understand the message. I see a comment here. Ansem's vision is clear. He's going to give stimmies to the trenches. Well, you know what? If I come out right now like Mandani and tell you everything's free, I think you get my drift already. If you want me to go ahead and say, hey guys, I'm gonna drop free money to everybody. We're not solving anything. That is not a solution. I'm gonna drop everybody money. What does that do? Like, how? I'm not taking shots at anybody, but how's that healing? I talked about things a few days ago. Somebody took everything that I said, things that can be really productive. They took that, they made it into their own post. They didn't even give me credit for it. They gave me no credit. Me talking about how do we incentivize or how do we reward creators? How do we showcase the real projects in this space? How do we bring back the memes and showcase the real memes? I said all these things, and I have more that I have written down that I'm not going to talk about anymore. You know why? Because people take my shit, they write it into their own words, use my blueprint though, and they put it out there and they say, hey, I was thinking, no credit. I'm not saying people aren't trying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying people. First of all, this is day 5. This is day 5. This is day 5. I expect to win. Because I'm competitive. I just expect to win. It's not from this thing. It's not from a financial standpoint. I just expect to win. I want to win, and I want to bring change. There's things that I want to, like, I want to do things that are different than what others are looking at. Like, I just want to do things that are amazing. That's really it. Rally around the bull, right? Rally around the bull. Rally around the bull. If you think and if you believe like I do, we can go ahead and bring change to this industry, rally around the bull. But I'm not in instant gratification mode, and I don't look at market cap numbers, and I look at what's being built. I told you where I'm going with it. I might announce it today. I might give my blessing today. I might give it in the next 7 days. I don't know. What I do know is if there is no goddamn community and you're basing it on one individual, it ain't ever gonna work out. So this gotta be door to door. Everybody's banging on everybody's door. Hey, if you're in 9 group chats and you haven't told nobody, then like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. How do you expect to win? If you ain't knocking on that door, his door, her door, if you ain't calling your ex-girl, if you ain't calling her parents, like if you're not doing these things, there's no winning. So let's win. Let's win. We're going to win. We're going to win. We have to win. We have to win. We'll go hard. We ain't going to be shooting from the outside. We're going to go into the paint, drive into the paint, and dunk the ball. This is what I'm talking about. You already had your chance and you waited too long, David. You can't win. Wrong thing to say to me. Whatever you're in, I hope you sell. And that's the message to that guy. My guy, I hope you sell. And I hope you're sidelined. I hope you sold, and I hope you're sidelined. Go ahead, bet against me. On that note, go ahead, bet. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. On that note, I'm out.